Obviously Borough are going to spend, but if you have a look at the bench as well, Chelsea have got a few $100 million they can bring on as well, particularly with Mudryk.
So we're underway. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also live on BBC Sounds. Middlesbrough all in red, playing from left to right as Barlasa switches play, and Engel straight away, the Dane, will get the ball out towards Bangura, the left wing back. It's a system that they'll be quite fluid. They'll use the three at the back, then at times the wing backs will drop in. They put up a terrific display against Aston Villa at the weekend, so much so that really Unai Emery had to bring off a lot of his big guns in the end to try and force as deserving the opportunity. And this is Latte Lath, who just couldn't get the shot away right-footed, and it was a comfortable save by Petrovic, and in fact Latte Lath has stayed down. He might have picked up an injury.
He might have done. He was tackled in the box there. That's one, if there was VAR, they would be having a look at that right now. I mean, Disassi's come in there real late. Colwell's mistake. Stuart and I were talking before the game, saying about full-backs, centre backs that move out there because they're not used to position. It's a terrible mistake, wasn't it, by Colwell? He heads it back straight into the danger area, and we're having. Do you know what? If you look at that on VAR, I think he gets a penalty. I honestly do. I think people complain about it, but Disassi, does he get any of the ball? Nope. Does he get the player? Yes, but the ball's away. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The story is, if you hit a player and you don't get the ball, it's a foul.
Well, Latte Lath is still getting treatment. We've got Stuart Downing also alongside us here in the commentary box. What are your feelings, Stuart?
Yeah, I think it's a bit clumsy. It looks like a penalty to me. Like I said, VAR they would probably be looking at that and giving it, but sloppy start from Colwell, like me and Pat said in the company before, and he's probably uncomfortable, and he probably knows Isaiah Jones is a threat to him. It's a very nervy start from him, so if I'm Michael Carrick, I'm encouraging Isaiah Jones, keep getting at him. If you get the ball, make it uncomfortable for him and make him defend.
Do you know what, I'm looking at that there, that's not even a difficult call, is it?
No.
That's a pretty clear penalty kick to me. Chelsea have got very, very lucky indeed, and if you get a penalty kick, we'll almost certainly be a yellow card as well.
Well, Latte Lath is back walking, players back underway, it's 0-0. 2 minutes in, it looks like he's going to be able to continue as Gusto at the back in front of the Chelsea support, and now with Disassi to Thiago Silva. Enzo Fernandez drops a little bit deep and then passes the ball back. Chelsea supporters in great voice, as you might well be able to hear. Latte Lath still waits to come on. He's just having a word actually with Michael Carrick to the right of the halfway line in that tiny technical area down below. Sterling collects the ball on this near side. BBC Radio 5 Live, 3 minutes in, 0-0 in the early stages. Caicedo, Latte Lath is back on the field of play, as here is Gallagher. Now to Sterling. Sterling, who runs at Jones and tries to cross the ball, but then it'll be dealt with by Johnny Howson, and then they've given the ball back away. Gallagher finds Enzo Fernandez. Sterling, I think, since he was in an offside position, the ball goes out of play for a goal kick. When I saw Gallagher with these ripped socks, and I mentioned it, Latte Lath has gone down, doesn't look like he's able to continue, so the referee has stopped play once again. And I mentioned it, it was in the November when they were up at Newcastle, and then you text me to say it's nothing new, you've seen it before. Yeah,
there's quite a few players around the world that are actually using it just now, and you see it quite a lot. I think it's just a little bit of freedom for your calf. Some players feel that, but certainly if you feel more comfortable, you do whatever you have to do. I feel really sorry for Borough at the moment. I mean, they don't get a penalty, and they may well lose a centre forward this early on if he's gone down again there. You don't like getting those sort of knocks early on in any game, but on a freezing cold night it's just that much worse, isn't it? It's horrible.
Well, the other thing as well is that, as you know, Stuart, Michael Carrick's missing about 12 first-team players at the minute. This is another one to add to the list.
Yeah, it's just getting worse, and I think obviously the way Middlesbrough want to play as well, he's going to be a miss like that because he's got pace to go in behind. Josh Coburn's a little bit different, obviously more of a target man. He works hard, really, really hard, but I just think they're going to miss that threat of Latte Lath going in behind. So big blow for Middlesbrough, and like I said, another injury to the list. It's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's an early setback. Greenwood is ineligible. Their recent signing as well from Aston Villa is also ineligible because Finn Azaz, because he'd played for Plymouth. And Rodgers, who played against Villa at the weekend, is suspended because he picked up 2 yellow cards, the second yellow card against Port Vale. Michael Carrick said that it was harsh, although that yellow card was actually his 5th of the season against Port Vale. So if the yellow cards hadn't been added to the League Cup, he'd have actually missed the game against West Bromwich Albion, where he scored the only goal of the game. Here is Cole Palmer, shoots, blocked by Glover, the keeper. It was straight at him, it was hit low and left-footed, and Glover made the save. He made a number of fine saves against Villa at the weekend. Now Middlesbrough pick it up. Barlassa, defensive midfielder, over the halfway line, tries to hold off Gallagher, forced out wide on this right-hand side, back underway, 5 minutes played, and Josh Coburn has come on. He, you might recall, scored the extra time winner against Tottenham when Chris Wilder was the manager a couple of years ago in a 5th round FA Cup tie. But a completely different type of player, as Stuart Downing was saying, but he will be a willing runner, and he's made that run. Won't necessarily have the same pace, but he'll have the physical presence as he puts pressure on Disasi in the penalty area. Going to require the support, and Crooks does that, arrives a fraction late, out of play for a throw. Pat.
Disasi doesn't look completely comfortable, does he? Put under a little bit of pressure for the second time. Different centre forward now. Doesn't look that comfortable on the ball, and I think his teammate Thiago Silva stand beside him. Maybe calm him down a little bit. He is young, and he just doesn't look that comfortable on the ball the way. But maybe if you play alongside Thiago Silva, nobody looks particularly comfortable on the ball.
I think he's still wincing actually from whether it was a reducer from Crooks. He just caught him a fraction late. But here is Thiago Silva, one of the changes that Mauricio Pochettino has made as he stands with his arms folded in that technical area. Chelsea haven't started at the minute as the ball is given away by Middlesbrough. Ball played forward, and that was quickly intercepted by Engel. And now it's with Hayden Hackney, this highly rated young midfielder who captained Middlesbrough for the first time at the weekend. What an honour that must have been for the Red Clad. As here he is now. Free kick is taken quickly. Middlesbrough trying to keep the ball moving in these early stages. BBC Radio 5 Live. We're at Anfield tomorrow night, but here we are at the Riverside as Hayden Hackney in that advanced role holds off Gusto. Ball is played forward. Bangura on that far side. Crooks and Coburn waits. Might reach Jones, bobbles away from him. They're appealing for handball as it popped up and might have struck the hand of Enzo Fernandez, and Gallagher clears it out towards that far side, kept in play. Gusto towards Madueke, out of play. Middlesbrough started well, Pat. Yeah,
very, very well indeed. Getting the ball in quickly. There's a couple of half chances there. Big shout for a penalty kick again. But on top of that, it's the comfort on the ball, the way they've played out from the back. Real belief in themselves as a football team, and at the moment, by some distance, and I know it's early days, better side.
They kept their compact, they kept their shape well against Aston Villa. They were looking to try and strike on the break. Maybe the dynamic is a little bit different for a two-legged semi-final, particularly at home for the first leg, because ideally Middlesbrough do need to take something with them to Stamford Bridge in a fortnight's time. But it's certainly been an encouraging start that they've made 8 minutes in. Here is Hackney, Howson, vastly experienced midfielder, formerly of Leeds and Norwich. Crooks, near side the right, back towards Jones. Jones tried to cut it back towards Hackney and cleared away by Chelsea. Fry plays it to Van den Berg, who's this Dutch youth international they signed in the summer, who really is meant to have high hopes for the 19-year-old. The coaching staff say that he's a real talker, he's a leader despite his tender years, as he's on the ball now and he passes the ball to Isaiah Jones, right side, and it goes straight towards the feet of Colwell. Diagonal ball in field, Fernandez to Thiago. Maybe Chelsea will just want to try and settle things down, Pat.
Yeah, tactically at the moment, Borough are winning this quite easily. They're finding real gaps. The way Chelsea are playing most of the time, it's like a 4-4-1-1, Gallagher being the one behind Cole Palmer up front, but they're not getting the ball up front to Cole Palmer. He's got it once and he's got a shot away, but apart from that, a little bit rattled. But you expect that, home ground for Borough, they're going to start a real lick. They have done that just now, and as you're absolutely right, Chelsea have to slow it down a bit, get everybody a little touch of the ball.
You said earlier that I reminded you of one of the worst days of your career.
Yeah.
I'm all for fairness and balance and consistency, a little bit like the Football League. Can I remind you of one of your more better moments in your career?
Was that one?
Because it was this competition that you actually made your debut for Chelsea against Gillingham in 1983.
I thought you were going to talk about the FA Cup third round and scored an overhead kick to equalise, but never mind, that'll do.
Here is Sterling with a cross from the left-hand side. Fry repels it with a head, brought down by Colwell. Left corner of the penalty area. I was trying to keep it relevant with the League Cup. Kerry Dixon scored all 4 goals that day.
Yes, and the away leg, yes.
Yes, when you made your debut.
Yes.
I thought you were doubting my homework.
No, it's a long time ago. I can't hardly remember. I think I was going to get a gig the next night. I had that in my mind.
That doesn't surprise me. 10 minutes in, 0-0. We've got Pat Neman and Stuart Downing with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Ball played forward by Enzo Fernandez. Bouncing ball caught by the fair-haired Australian international goalkeeper Tom Glover, who said it was a mutual decision that he didn't go away on international duty because, of course, they're missing the normal goalkeeper Sene Dieng with Senegal with the African Cup of Nations. So it's an opportunity for Glover to try and stake a claim for the number 1 goalkeeper's jersey.
He looks very confident, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Very, very confident with the ball. His feet so far, he's looked really good. At no point does he want to play it long. And even though Chelsea are trying a little bit of a squeeze here, and it's not a full squeeze, but certainly Gallagher, we know that he'll chase everything. And Cole Palmer up front, he's trying to chase it as well. They don't mind. They feel as if they're good enough to play it from the back. And as I say that, he'll probably thump it long.
Well, they're poised, and in fact he does exactly that. But it's more of a floated ball towards Crooks with a little flick. Didn't quite come off. Brought down by the thigh of Colwill. Fernandez then back to Disasi, 10 yards inside the Chelsea half, who play from right to left as we look. 11 minutes played and it's still goalless. And Middlesbrough have had some promising moments, but neither goalkeeper has had a shot to save so far as the ball goes long. But Stuart, Glover did well against Villa, didn't he? Made a number of fine saves. Man of the match, in fact.
Yeah, and one in particular from McGinn. I think this end to the right, he tipped it over the bar. It was a magnificent save. And like I say, since he's came in the team, he's been really confident, and he suits, if you like, Michael's way of playing off from the back. He's very comfortable. And I think when you keep us like that, defenders gain confidence in that as well, don't they? So yeah, he's had a really good couple of games, and hopefully that continues as well.
Well, he began his career at Tottenham. He moved as a young Australian to London 10 years ago, and here he is making only his 12th appearance as Bangura just outside the centre circle, battles for the ball, they lose out. Madueke now comes forward, Gusto will go on the overlap, the ball is played forward, but in fact it was an outstretched leg from Lucas Engel that diverted it behind for a corner kick to Chelsea.
That's interesting to watch Madueke when he gets the ball. He's only got one thing in his mind. He wants to go and take on a defender. He wants to get speed up as quick as he possibly can. And he is one of those ones. There's quite a few wingers around at the moment. They get the ball and they stop. He doesn't. He gets the ball and he goes.
He drives forward. He, of course, also began at Tottenham before he went off to PSV Eindhoven, the England under-21 international. He's currently just loitering, unmarked, outside the D of the penalty area, as are, in fact, 4 Chelsea players, because Middlesbrough have every red shirt inside their penalty box. It's a corner kick, far side, the right. There was just a slight delay because Gusto was tying his bootlaces. In it comes now, it's an in-swinger, and actually Fry gets a clatter on the back of the head from his own goalkeeper as he heads it by behind, and it's going to be a successive corner for Chelsea, which Cole Palmer is going to go and take over on that far side. It's a good delivery, asked questions of that very concentrated area as Middlesbrough have every red shirt back. 0-0 in this first leg of the first of the semi-finals of the League Cup competition. Palmer again with another in-swinger. And Howson got in front of his own goalkeeper there as it's volleyed back in by Gallagher, but it's off target and it will be a goal kick.
Quality of the corners was very good there. I mean, real pace, whipped in. I mean, the keeper gets to the second one there, but you hate that for your goalkeeper. It's low, it's just over the first man, and it's zipped in. Just needs to touch anyone, defender or forward, and it's a real dangerous one.
I was speaking to Mark Schwarzer actually ahead of the game. We were just talking about goalkeepers, and he says that catching the ball is actually a dying art now for a keeper. Yeah. I mean, I know obviously he wasn't helped there by his own player, but it's something that you don't tend to see as much as you used to do, is it?
Absolutely. Time's gone past. If the keeper punched it in the situation there, he was in his own 6-yard box, you say, what are you doing? Take the pressure off us, catch the ball, and we can get control of it again. But it's a secondary thought.
14 minutes played, 0-0, and after what had been a positive start by Middlesbrough, Chelsea have spent a lot of the time in these last few minutes in the Middlesbrough half, and they've got a free kick. It's a few yards in from the right touch line. It's knocked short by Palmer to Madueke. Madueke then cuts the ball back towards Palmer. He pulls it back, and then before it can reach Enzo Fernandez, it's clattered out of play by Howson and out for a throw.
it's just almost by osmosis. Chelsea have started to dominate the game a little bit more. They've not done anything particularly special. They've just moved the ball slowly up, pushed Middlesbrough back, and they have naturally went a little bit deeper than I think they would feel comfortable with. And they have to try and get on the ball again, because for the first 10 minutes there, they were so comfortable on the ball, Borough.
Quarter of an hour played, up it goes to Sterling, nods it back with his head to Gallagher, tries to shield the ball away from Howson, plays it back out to Sterling, left side level with the area. Sterling now has got the run of Gallagher, instead he passes the ball back to Colwill, forward ball, Gallagher with his back to goal. Now with Colwill, he's just drifting into a central area, now it's with Disasi, opens it up and switches play out towards the Chelsea right. Gusto gets it back from Madueke. Gusto now with Madueke midway through the Chelsea half. Short, sharp passing from Chelsea. Middlesbrough have every red shirt back behind the ball. Back it goes to the centre circle. Thiago Silva looks up, forward ball. Madueke just popped up away from him. Now Coburn with a layoff for Middlesbrough. Hackney tried to return the ball, and in fact it does succeed in doing that. And Bangura, but because the pressing of Cole Palmer, they go back towards the goalkeeper Tom Glover, and Middlesbrough now will build from the back with Bangura. He's been closed down by Madueke. He's been forced back. Engel now will hit it long, looking for that run of Coburn. And in a minute, Middlesbrough now are just struggling to get hold of the ball.
Bit of a difference though, because you've got a different centre forward up there who he's adding something slightly different, but the pure pace that Laffy had, pushed the Chelsea back a bit. Disasi had that real difficult challenge on him, and also Thiago Silva, for the great player he is, he's not lightning quick, but they've not got that anymore.
Foul from Madueke on Bangura as he was just played in on that right hand side. They are missing Rodgers through suspension.
I think his hamstring's gone. I absolutely think it's gone. He is not budged.
Well, that would be a real blow as well, and straight away he went for it, didn't he? Clutch. So they've already lost Latte Lath, now to lose Bangura. Stuart, I wonder if Michael Carrick's run over a black cat on his way to the Riverside.
He must be pulling his hair out. I mean, like I said, they had a promising start and they've lost two important players straight away in the first, 20 odd minutes, 16 minutes, sorry. So yeah, it's a blow. I think that's probably a big of a blow, because like I said, the way they wanted to play, his pacing behind these defenders and in the channels, and now they've obviously got Coburn who's more directing up to him, and they're struggling a little bit to get out. But that's another big blow for Michael. Like I said, it's another one to the injury list, and it's sort of the team's picking itself, I think, at the minute.
But the two former pros here, we've written them off right away, haven't we?
Yeah.
Bangura, we've just looked and went, oh, don't like that.
No, I don't like the look of that one. It's it's just another blow for Middlesbrough. Like I say, it's another important player. He's probably going to be missing for a while now.
But if you look at the bench, there's only really three experienced players there in Matt Clark. I use Coburn as one of them, even though he's still relatively young, and Lewis O'Brien coming back from an ankle injury. The rest of them are all youngsters, so I can only imagine that Matt Clark will come on and then Engel would go as the left wing back.
Yeah.
But then Engel doesn't provide you with the same attacking intent that Bangura would.
Your sort of plans go out the window. It's not ideal, but even Matt Clark, you've got to be careful with him. He's been out a very long time. I know he's come back and done really well, but like I say, so many games in so many days for him coming back after such a long period. You're taking a big risk with him. That's maybe why he didn't start the game. So yeah, you got to be careful, Middlesbrough here.
I think you're right. I think there was a great deal of concern about Matt Clark. This is only what will be his 10th appearance. He came back in November after 14 months out with a back injury. In fact, he required surgery on that back problem. But Pat, you called it. Bangura straight away unable to continue.
I don't know why he's going to try and walk all the way across the pitch. It's going to take him about 5 minutes.
It's going to make it a bit worse.
So they've lost, and the other thing as well is that they've been forced now into two changes. So they've only got one more opportunity now to make another change.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, they've got another one, a free hit at half time. But apart from that, during the actual game time, they've only got one more change to make further changes, despite having 9 on the bench. So the problems are really adding up for Michael Carrick at this early stage. Certainly it will be Clark who's going to be coming on. They signed him from Brighton, but very early on in his Middlesbrough career he picked up that back injury that forced him out for 14 months. So he will then go alongside Dale Fry and Rav Vandenberg, and Lucas Engel will play as a left wing back. And already you can't help but think that Middlesbrough have lost two attacking options, Pat Neville.
They have done, but again, if you're Michael Carrick, you're looking at, right, try what positives can I get here. You've got another fairly experienced centre-back's going to come on. You're going to be hopefully a little bit stronger there. You will hopefully then create maybe fewer chances, but you might give fewer chances away because you've got that extra defender on there who's not going to be flying forward.
So the bald-headed Matt Clark comes on, and I'm sure that he will pass on the instructions to Lucas Engel, who when they signed him, he's a Dane. He can either play the left back, in fact left midfield, but he has been slotting in on the left of the centre, and there is that swap. So that is exactly what has happened. 20 minutes in, and Middlesbrough have been dealt with 2 injury setbacks as it remains 0-0, and still neither goalkeeper yet to be tested. The return leg is in a fortnight's time. Tomorrow, Kelly Cates presenting from Anfield for Liverpool against Fulham. That, like this, is an 8 o'clock kickoff. And then the commentaries this weekend, we've got Newcastle, Manchester City with John Murray and Pat at St James's Park at 5:30, and then 2 on Sunday, Everton against Villa at 2, Manchester United against Tottenham at 4:30. But this is the Carabao Cup, and the League Cup now in its 64th season, as the ball goes back to Vandenberg. Now the goalkeeper out towards Clark. Early pressure from Madueke, just steps to the side, finds Engel, and now looks for the run of Coburn. The flag had been offside anyway. It just triggered it. Had young Josh Coburn, 21 years of age. I'm saying that he's one of the senior pros. He's only made just over 50 appearances in his young career.
It just shows you. One of the interesting things you often say, the cliche alert for football, that if you're a lower league team, you're playing against a top league team, you won't get that many chances. You need the luck to go for you. They've got no luck whatsoever so far, Borough. 2 players off, and a penalty they should have got. Nothing going for them.
Middlesbrough 0, Chelsea 0. We've got Pat Nevin and Stuart Downing as company here at the Riverside, as Chelsea with Thiago Silva edges his way in towards the centre circle. Outside of his right boot finds Disasi, now towards Madueke. Gusto thought about on the overlap, but stayed behind him. Now gets the ball and passes it back towards Disasi. Middlesbrough have dropped off. Thiago Silva short to Caicedo, back with Thiago once more, then collects the ball back from Enzo Fernandez. Palmer in a deep roll. Enzo Fernandez out towards Colwill, passes it forward on this near left hand side towards Sterling. Vandenberg tried to stop him. Sterling might just hopped a little bit there. Whether he's picked up a little bit of a niggle, he'll try and shake that off. As Chelsea with Gusto, Madueke far side the right, comes in between 2 Middlesbrough players and is actually stopped between Hackney and Engel as a combination, but Chelsea try and win it back, and then it bounces off the shins of Hackney. You can see Middlesbrough don't really want to give a great deal away. They don't want to come out and lose their shape at this stage.
Well, their shape's changed. That's the thing. They really are looking more like a back four to me just now, and that actually might help Jones a little bit, because playing less of a wing back, and he's now and again he'll maybe get a little bit further up the field, get the ball in the last third, because I'm sure that's what he would like to get.
Here is Disasi. Gusto waits midway through the Middlesbrough half. Back with Disasi once again. Every outfield player is in the Middlesbrough half as Chelsea play from right to left. Here is Gallagher, closed down by Howson. Out to Sterling it goes. Colwill has made that herring run ahead of him. Sterling though will come inside, and then his ball is overhit, and out of play it goes for a goal kick. What do you think now, Stuart, of the situation that Middlesbrough are facing themselves in?
Yeah, it's a little bit unsettling, but like you say, you've got to play to your strengths, and you've got the Coburn and Crooks up the top, so get up to them, get hold of it. Can they get Isaiah Jones 10-15 yards higher and 1v1 out on this right hand side? And I think you, like I said, play to your strengths, and that's what the biggest are for Middlesbrough at the minute. It's not ideal, it's not the way probably they want to play, but that's what you've got to do. You've got to play the way that suits the team at the minute, and I think for 5 or 10 minutes just get it up to the big lads, try and get hold of it and pin Chelsea back a little bit.
The voice of Stuart Downing. We also have Pat Nevin with us as Jones wants to take the throw. Michael Carrick's actually saying to him, wait, just slow it down on this near side. Wait for some red shirts to get further forward as Jones to Howson, helped on towards Crook, stabs it off back towards Howson. Caicedo got a foot there, but now this is with Hackney, who runs away from one and overruns it actually. And Enzo Fernandez now passes the ball almost with the interception for Engel, but Gusto is away from Engel and he runs forward. He's now over the halfway line, and then it strikes the heels of Madueke, and then that might allow Coburn to battle for the ball in the midfield. Middlesbrough trying to put the challenges in, but Chelsea release the ball. The Middlesbrough fans start to find their voices as well, as here is Enzo Fernandez, rolls it out towards the right hand side. Gusto to Madueke at a walking pace. Chelsea seem to have that control, Pat.
Yeah, they want that control. I mean, they know themselves. They don't need to do too much tonight. I mean, if they can get Borough back to Stamford Bridge and, you know, even if it was a 0-0 or a 1-1, they'd take that comfortably. You know, if you get 90 minutes against a lower league team at your own home ground, starting from scratch, you'll take that. So they didn't need to push up.
They have changed as well to a back four, haven't they?
Yes. You're not listening.
I was listening. Yeah.
I think that's why they're a little bit more reticent about playing it out for the back for the goalkeeper. If you're a back three, you've got an extra centre back in there, it's sometimes a little bit easier to do that. But when you're going to a back four, you've adapted it slightly. I think Glover's maybe taking the sensible safe route for a moment.
So Vandenberg now playing at the right back, Engel is at left back, and the two central defensive players are Dale Fry and the substitute Matt Clark. Here is Disasi. Gallagher just squirted away from him, but he's retained it. Eventually loses out, actually, does Gallagher, who's always facing a losing battle in that respect. He was on the stretch as Vandenberg with a little push in the back of Sterling, who drops almost midway through his own half for Chelsea. Now to Disasi, right of the centre circle, hits a ball with pace forward through the channel towards Madueke, and it goes through towards Tom Glover.
It's interesting watching the two wingers for Chelsea. You know, Raheem Sterling, he's got the ball each time, he's basically turned inside or turned backwards. He doesn't go directly towards the players marking him. You watch Madueke, every time he gets the ball, pins back his ears and goes and has a go. Now he's lost the ball a few times, but he's having a go each time.
When they played Preston in the Cup at the weekend, they laboured in the first half. All the 4 goals came after the break, and Pochettino was saying for tonight it was imperative that they made a good start as Jones comes forward. Colwill with the interception preventing it from reaching Jones, now with Gallagher. Sterling, he was just caught there by Barlas, so that'll be a free kick. After what had been a positive opening for Middlesbrough, do you think that Pochettino will be happy with how Chelsea are playing now?
Yeah, he wanted them to start well, but also he told them you're going to get the team flying at you for the first 10 or 15 minutes. What they're doing now in controlled way, yeah, I'll be happy as long as they don't lose a goal.
Gusto can't get forward in that right corner of the penalty area. There was Clark. Hackney with a turn will get a throw for Middlesbrough.
They've still not created a great deal, Chelsea. No. You know, they've got the ball. It's been a big part of the last season or two that they've played. They've got a lot of possession in a lot of games, and sometimes it's looked nice, but it's not been the same cutting edge as they'd expect or want.
Here is Palmer back with Gusto. Caicedo makes the run forward, returns the ball to Gusto, and Engel will marshal the ball out of play for a goal kick. If you look back at their record since the end of September, they've failed to score in just 2 games out of 18, Chelsea. You'd expect with the quality that they've got to conjure up at least 2 or 3 chances in the game.
Absolutely, and to be honest, they generally do create the chances. I mean, that's why Broja is on the bench tonight. You know, he's just centre forward. He's the obvious pick as a centre forward, but he's not playing because he's not been putting them away. So yeah, you expect him to create chances, but they know that. I suppose what Chelsea expect here is at some point Middlesbrough are going to have to take some chances and push forward a little bit, because they need a little bit of cushion for the second leg, and when that happens, that may well play into Chelsea's hands.
28 minutes played, 0-0. Madueke picks it up, far side the right, drives into the penalty area, goes past 2 Middlesbrough players, and in the end it was Dale Fry who came across, and it goes behind for a corner kick. Leggy sort of player, and when he's running it like that, it must be difficult to stop.
That's what I'm saying. You know, defenders just don't want you to run at them, and they don't want you to run them at pace. And if you get pretty good, and he's got very good close skills, I mean, it's a bit of a nightmare. He's gone past 2 or 3 players there, got a corner out of it, that's absolutely fine, but he's also driving the defender back.
Corner taken short, Palmer to Sterling, far side the right, Sterling's cross is blocked, comes back to Sterling, brings it under control with his back to goal, finds Palmer once again 30 yards out. There was a slip there by Coburn, that allows Palmer then to deliver the ball into the penalty area, and the header from Colwill is over the top. Never really got over it, and it will probably go down as the first serious chance of the game, 0-0.
Yeah, but it wasn't a great chance. He was being quite close to the mark. Kind of argue might have been offside as well. But the first real effort on goal, apart from that very early one from Cole Palmer. I think that time Colville's he's going to get a yellow card for that. Got himself into a bad position. I mean, I don't know why you're arguing. You've dragged him back. There's no argument there. VAR or not, that's a yellow card. And again, it's saying about players who are maybe a bit more comfortable, more central. You put them out that far position, find themselves in bad positions sometimes. They've not got that 360 degrees that you need to be able to look around and see where the danger is, and that's an absolute stick on yellow card. And of course, if you're a winger playing against that, hello.
Sam Burrett, with no hesitation, the referee gives the yellow card to the Chelsea defender. Trying to create quite a high line outside the D of the penalty area to protect their keeper Petrovic. Barlassa's going to take it. Palmer isn't back the full 10 yards for this free kick. Needs a good delivery. Barlassa hits a diagonal ball out towards that far side, headed back towards Crooks, who battles for it on the edge of the area, loses out to Gallagher. Palmer lifts it forward. Madueke and Gallagher both go for the same ball, and in the end it's seen back by Engel towards Tom Glover, the Middlesbrough goalkeeper, all in green, who plays it short to Barlassa, whose forward ball is now passed out towards Crooks. They're trying to beat the Chelsea press. This is Jones, keeps it with Middlesbrough.
One thing I underline, we watched Sunderland the other day, and it did for a period look men against boys. Doesn't look like that here. Oh,
that was a poor ball by Howson. Goes straight towards Palmer, and he's put it wide. And that's a real let-off for Middlesbrough, because it's Howson. He knew straight away, apologises. It was gift-wrapped to Palmer, and on the edge of the area, he stroked it left-footed wide of the right-hand post.
Palmer looked so confident when they got the ball there. You could argue it was overplayed there, but that was an easy pass on, a terrible mistake. Great chance for Chelsea. They didn't make it themselves, but he should have finished it.
Stuart Downing, what a let-off. Oh, hold on, there's a break now for Middlesbrough. Ball played forward to Hackney. Hackney to the edge of the area, he takes it early. He was, I think, aware of Gusto on the cover, and his right-footed shot was dragged wide. Stuart.
He didn't look overly confident, did he? Hackney there going through, I think, but on the other end, Palmer, as soon as he touched the ball, I thought golden opportunity. Like Pat said, he looked really confident on his left foot, but big mistake from Middlesbrough, and that's what you don't want to do, give them confidence and give them big chances, because you give them 2 or 3, they're probably going to take one, so that's a big let-off for Middlesbrough, that one.
And Pat, what are your thoughts on the Hackney chance? Because he did take it very early from the edge of the area.
He took it early because he knew he didn't have the pace to get away from Gusto. Yeah. And then you think, what's Gusto doing there? The 2 centre-backs have been caught out. Gusto read it brilliantly. So don't take nothing away from Gusto's A, intelligence, B, speed to go over there and see where the danger was. Very good defending from him.
32 minutes played. BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app. And it remains 0-0 between Middlesbrough, who were 12th in the Championship, against Chelsea 10th in the Premier League. So what's that, 22 places beneath Chelsea in the English League system. And nothing to choose between the two so far in this first leg of this Carabao Cup semi-final, playing for the right to be at Wembley on the 25th of February. Enzo Fernandez spreads play out towards that far side, and because it was in the air, it gave plenty of time for the 25-year-old Danish defender Lucas Engel to head it out of play for a Chelsea throw.
You look at it, it was just over half an hour gone now, and Middlesbrough had most of the play for the first 10 minutes, a lot of the ball. But if you look at the stats now, 62% possession for Chelsea. But it's not really that dangerous possession a lot of the time until generally they get it to Madueke. He's probably looked the most dangerous for Chelsea.
We do have a chance, by the way, to say I was there, if you so wish, for a piece of English football history tonight, because if Chelsea were to win and to keep a clean sheet, they would equal Liverpool's record of winning the most consecutive games by keeping successive clean sheets to 10, as the ball towards Gallagher goes out of play for a goal kick. Liverpool against West Brom achieved 10 successive wins without conceding between 1997 and 2010. Chelsea have won their last 9 without conceding, with an aggregate score of 21 goals for and 0 against. The last time that Middlesbrough scored against Chelsea was a 2-1 win in 2006. Emmanuel Pogatetz and Mark Viduka.
So remember him, he was a player. Wow. They've just made 2 big mistakes, Borough, and get caught in the ball, but they're still dribbling it from centre back in their own box. They've got a bit of belief in themselves.
That was Dan Barlassa who dropped in between the 2 central defenders, and it was a sharp turn as he tried to pass the ball out of defence, and then Enzo Fernandez has been fouled, and it will be a free kick. So it's fair to say that history is against Middlesbrough. Injuries certainly have hampered Michael Carrick's cause in these early stages by losing those 2 players in the opening 19 minutes of this game. Latte Lath going off, and then Bangura as Madueke comes forward, passes the ball towards Palmer, put behind by Dale Fry. It's a Chelsea corner kick, 0-0.
I know I'm a little bit biased in its wingers, but Madueke's been great, hasn't he? He's just going by people for fun, and he doesn't think twice. And again, it's a shame to compare him with Sterling, who's a different type of player. But Madueke, you just want him to get the ball every time.
Palmer with the in-swinging corner. There was plenty of swing on it too. Headed out only as far as Gusto. Madueke on that far side, the right, gets plenty of lift. Caicedo was the one coming round the back, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. Glover looks for the early ball over the top. Jones is the one who's furthest forward. Gusto again was on the cover, coming across the pitch from his right back roll and into a central area to head it away for Chelsea. Crooks puts pressure on Gallagher. Gallagher holds him off. Middlesbrough eventually go towards Enzo Fernandez, but he's picked out Colwill now. When it went out of play because of the presence of Howson, and it will be a Middlesbrough throw on the right hand side.
I didn't think it went out of play. It looked as if it was still in play for me, but the assistant referee has got his flag up very, very quickly.
Is there such a thing as a wingers union? I know about the goalkeepers union though. Are you and Stuart part of the wingers union?
I think we call ourselves the creatives union.
Yeah.
We go for that.
I ended up a full-back at the end, so
yeah. Oh, he did the lot. He did the whole wing
for them.
He used to be 6'4" when he started.
9 minutes to go to half time. Ball over the top. Isaiah Jones takes it into the penalty area. Colwill is with him. He's on a yellow card. Jones with a cutback. Hayden Hackney with a finishing touch, and the Riverside goes absolutely berserk. 9 minutes before half time. Middlesbrough's first serious attack, and the highly rated Hayden Hackney gives Middlesbrough the all-important breakthrough goal. 1-0.
Phenomenal goal, phenomenal noise as well. But we talked about it before the start of the game. You've got a left full back who's not a full back. He's a centre back. He gets himself completely in the wrong position there. Simple ball over the top, and he's away down the left hand side. Jones there puts it across there, and Hackney's there very, very calmly to touch it in towards the back post. And when I say very calmly, he's the only calm person in here with red and white round his neck.
Didn't he take it so well, Stuart Downing?
What a goal. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a change for Chelsea at left back at half time. I think Colwill doesn't look comfortable at all. Jones is the outlet for Middlesbrough down the side, 100%. We've got to keep using him, and to be fair to Hackney, he made a great run to the box, and you've got to say it was a very, very comfortable finish. Do Middlesbrough deserve it? I think they started really well, didn't they? Had a little bit of spell out possession, but you've got to say they've stuck in there after all the adversity of the injuries. And here we go, might be the chance again.
Coburn gets away from Disasi. Coburn runs forward. Coburn into the penalty area. Gusto makes the challenge, and he drops to his knees as the young forward and behind for a goal kick. But it was Jones with the cutback from the right hand side, and then Hackney just opened up his left boot and just guided the ball in past Petrovic.
Yeah, but you love that if you're a striker or someone coming from midfield. Yeah, play across the 6-yard line. Yeah, he does it in the night and he stays calm. And the moment, and as you say, he passes it in. But you know, if we can see, we were chatting about it before the game, if there's a weakness, it's a comparative weakness. Colwill's a good player, but he's not a natural left back. It's a very specific position, and if you're up against a talented, quick winger who's a specialist there, it's always going to be a danger. And you know, warned before the game, and they paid the price for it so far, Chelsea.
And forget that little bit of English football history I was talking about, because Middlesbrough now have scored against Chelsea. Here is Gallagher away from Howson. Tried to curl the ball along the ground towards Madueke, with the interception was Engel towards Jones. Jones brings it under control very well on the right hand side, looks for the run of Crooks in behind Colwill once again. Crooks waits, almost level with the penalty area, tried the back heel to Jones, volleyed away by Colwill. But Middlesbrough of the Championship lead Chelsea of the Premier League by a goal to nil in this first leg, and it is a vibrant Riverside now. The supporters are out of their seats. The red and white scarves are being swirled around their heads. You can feel the vibrations as we sit here in the main stand of this top tier. Barlaser loses the ball in the midfield. Palmer to Madueke. Madueke enters the penalty area, rising right-footed shot off target, goal kick, 1-0 Middlesbrough, Pat Nevin.
Well, it's absolutely wild, that. No need to do that there. Good position he got himself into. There really is asking questions now. The confidence you can see in the stands and you can hear in the stands, yeah, but surely that gives confidence to these Middlesbrough players. They'll say they should have got a penalty in the first minute. They've got all sorts of things going against them, but they're still 1-up just now, and they know that they can create chances. And again, we have to talk about Caldwell just now. He's on a yellow card. After the goal there, the ball came towards him, he had to back off, he couldn't tackle, he's on a yellow card. So as Stuart was saying there, it makes perfect sense. Do they make a change? But they need to bring on a young player. You know, looking down the line, it's probably Alfie Gulf, Chris. It probably comes on there.
Well, just looking at the bench, they've named 8 on the bench. They haven't filled their entire quota, as a bouncing ball eventually will go back into the penalty box for Tom Glover to take. But 2 of those of the 8 are goalkeepers in Bettinelli and Bergstrom. So they're not blessed with a great deal of options in terms of outfield players. Making the run forward, ball played around the back towards Coburn. Inside left channel of the penalty box. Hackney, left corner of the area. Engel's actually ahead of him. Here is Engel now, leading by a goal to 0. Now with Coburn. On the stretch was Barlassa, did very well, good footwork. Now the cross comes in from the left. Colwell directs his header away. Sterling turns, got away from Howson. Chelsea lose the ball, 25 yards out from goal. Engel hits one, strikes the back of Gusto, blocked on the edge of the penalty area. Middlesbrough buoyed by that goal, looking to try and strike again in the 4 minutes before half time. Come on, Borough! Is the chant from the home crowd here as it goes back to Petrovic, all in yellow, away towards our right hand side. And then effortlessly, just calm as ever, is Thiago, who just strides forward, never ever looks phased. Madueke. Concentration now the key for Middlesbrough, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, but they feel it. You're absolutely right. They feel that they can get against Chelsea again. They can create more chances. They're so quick in the tackle just now. Then they are bullying Chelsea in a number of positions just now, and that's the last thing you expected.
Isaiah Jones hooks it away from Colwell, and Colwell is forced to recover, and in that foot chase he matched him for pace, but he had to be careful, as Pat and Stuart have both alluded to, that if he was to catch him on a yellow card, then that would result potentially in a second yellow. He was just testing the back of his calves there, was Isaiah Jones, in that his name is being sung by the Middlesbrough supporters. It's a throw to Middlesbrough on this right hand side. Vandenberg will go back towards Dale Fry. The goalkeeper Tom Glover is out of his penalty area as it reaches Matt Clark. To Howson. 3 minutes to go to half time. Back to Glover, hits it first time because Palmer was running towards him. He's managed to pick out Engel off the chest. First effort down the line is blocked. Passes the second effort inside to Howson. Barlassa gives it back towards Howson, just outside the centre circle, up towards Crooks on the stretch. Middlesbrough lose the ball, picked up by Madueke now, short of the halfway line. Passes the ball back to Gusto. He waits, and now inside to Disasi. Thiago. Chelsea at this stage.
Well, you were saying before, Thiago Silva is slowing down and very calm and not rushed. I think those Chelsea fans over there want a little bit of rush, want a little bit of pace to the game. The ball's up to about. We're talking about the fact that Chelsea had, almost 2/3 of the possession. But unless it went to Madueke, it wasn't really leading to much, was it? And the best chance that Chelsea have had was actually laid in a plate to him by Borough. They need to do better.
Here is Sterling. Sterling on the left hand side. Sterling dinks the ball in, headed away by Dale Fry. What is amazing, as there's a free kick there for a foul on Coburn, is that Pat talks about Madueke, but there's an England international on this left hand side, Sterling, and we've hardly mentioned him.
Yeah, to be fair, he's got in some great positions down there, but his final ball's been really poor, and a lot of the times as well he's sort of passing it back to his left back and not committing the full back, which Vandenberg we're very happy about. I mean, on the other side, Madueke, every time he gets it, like Pat says, he commits that defender, and that's a nightmare. I've played at left back myself, and what you want him to do is play it back to the full back. Your job's easy. They keep running at you, like Colwell's getting on this side against Isaiah Jones. It's a nightmare. And I think for Middlesbrough, I think their tactics are just keep getting the ball to Isaiah Jones and keep putting Colwell under pressure, because, like we say, wouldn't be surprised at half time there's going to be a change on this left hand side for Chelsea.
But why can't Sterling get into the game, Pat?
Sterling has to be a little bit more direct. We know these capabilities, we know how special he is, but he has to use that directness a little bit more often. And if he does that, you get in a habit sometimes, if you're a player going backwards, get the ball, turn and ask every defender a question.
Well, here is Coburn now for Middlesbrough over the halfway line. Hackney, the goal scorer, fouled by Casado.
And with the referee there.
The referee was handily placed, and it was a dive forward, and he says play on. And Hackney actually is back to his feet and now wins the ball. He's got a bit of area to run into on that far side, but again doesn't necessarily trust his pace, and therefore he waits and slows it down, and then ultimately they lose the ball, and Gallagher chips it out towards that far side to Madueke. Engel goes to with him, shoulder to shoulder. Does he keep the ball in play? Well, if he does, he hooks it to the edge of the area, and then Clark will get the ball back from Barlaser, and Middlesbrough will build slowly, as we're about to find out how much added on time there will be, and we're into 6 minutes of added on time in this first half of this first Carabao Cup semi-final first leg here at the Riverside in Teesside, where Middlesbrough lead Chelsea by a 1-0. Michael Carrick's side hit by injury and further depleted with those 2 substitutions that they were forced to make inside the opening 19 minutes. But Hackney with the goal, as Vandenberg with a little push on Raheem Sterling, and that just allows the ball to go out of play for a throw. And Chelsea...
But, do you know, I'll tell you one of the problems Chelsea have got just now. Since the goal and a little bit before the goal as well, the amount of space that Middlesbrough are getting in the midfield is really, really surprising. You don't often get that. We talked about this before the game, where the team's going to be dominant, where Chelsea are going to be dominant, and yes, they passed the ball well. But since the goal and around about that period of time there's players that are getting the ball and they're not getting closed down. And I can see Enzo shouting around to his teammates there, get close, make it hard for them.
Disasi with a back pass to Petrovic. This is his 8th appearance, taking advantage of the injury to Robert Sanchez for the young Serbian goalkeeper. There's Gusto at right back. Palmer is just on the inside of him. The England international now strokes it into the centre circle. Enzo Fernandez wants Colwell going a little bit further ahead. Instead he passes the ball towards Sterling, who now runs at Jones. Reaches Gallagher with his back to goal. Enzo Fernandez goes square. Caicedo will shoot from distance, and that whistles wide. Hit it right-footed. He's yet to score for Chelsea. That wasn't too far off target.
Good effort. We were just saying about Raheem. Run at players. And he did it there. Now, he didn't do it particularly well, but he's taken 2 players out of the game when they lost the ball. And what happens then? You've dragged everyone towards you, and there's a gap somewhere else. It lands at Caicedo, and he has a shot towards goal, and nearly scores a goal. If you're a wide player, you've got to ask questions. Keep on asking questions. And it won't always work. Do you know what? Well, it needs to work once.
You know, we were talking about the conditions, and we're saying how cold it is, and whether some of the players might not necessarily fancy it. Just to add to the cold, it's now raining here in Middlesbrough, and the Championship team protecting their lead. Vandenberg, forward ball, push there from Jones on Colwell. That'll be a free kick to Chelsea midway through their own half. Stoppage time here on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Enzo Fernandez switches it out towards that far side. Gusto gets it out from underneath his feet, runs forward over the halfway line, 10 yards inside the Middlesbrough half. Hackney is back. In fact, every red shirt is back behind the ball, but Madueke will come in off that right touchline. Diagonal ball, Palmer with the layoff. Madueke now 30 yards out from goal. Finds Sterling, left corner of the penalty area. Sterling waits, finds Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez tries to place it, the keeper's spilt it, and then Palmer has ballooned it over the bar. What a chance that was. He was probably surprised that the keeper lost it. It just bobbled out of his grasp, and it was hard for him to control, but he had a gaping goal, and Palmer popped it over the bar.
It's one of those ones that is actually quite... it looks really easy, doesn't it? Because he's in front of goal, he doesn't expect it, and you're right, it's popped straight back at him, but you so expected the net to ripple there. It wasn't a great shot, he should have taken it easy. Actually, I've seen it a second time. He's got to score that. He's absolutely got to score that. That is a terrible miss.
Well, we were only saying in the first half about dying, how handling for a goalkeeper is a dying art. I mean, it wasn't a great deal of power from the effort from Enzo Fernandez.
So that's why they don't catch it. They'll try to.
There was the referee has stopped play for a challenge on Colwell. It'll be a free kick for Chelsea. But he's had 2 gifts now, Cole Palmer, hasn't he?
Especially the second one, he's got to score, really, hasn't he? But like what Pat says with Raheem Sterling, that's twice he's committed the fullback. He's drawn the winger in within the 2 players. He creates space for Fernandez to get the shot off. yeah, the keeper should save it, but then it creates another chance for Chelsea. So Sterling, especially on this side, has got to keep committing. Isaiah Jones back and Rav van der Berg, because like I say, Madueke on the other side has done that, to be fair, really lots of times in the first half, and he's creating a lot of chances.
By my watch, as the ball played into Palmer. Palmer inbound on the back. Palmer waits. Palmer settles himself. Good save by the goalkeeper, and then got an element of good fortune, because it then popped back towards him off the ricochet off Enzo Fernandez, and he gathered the ball safely at the second attempt.
And he knew nothing about it. You say it comes off Enzo. Enzo knew nothing about it either. But if you look at it now, the narrative of this game, Chelsea are 1 goal down, and there are real concerns. It could easily have been 3-1 up. Cole Palmer could have actually had 3 goals on his own there. He did everything just about right there, just didn't get enough curl in the shot.
We're inside the last 60 seconds of this first half. I thought that Palmer was going to redeem himself for his 2 earlier misses, but it was actually a good save by Glover, getting low and sharp down towards his right hand side and saving it with his right arm. And then that element of fortune that you could argue that Middlesbrough maybe deserve after the bad fortune that saw them lose 2 early injuries in this first half. They lead by 1-0, but Chelsea have shown more than enough that they could easily level in this first leg here at the Riverside. The second leg will be 2 weeks tonight at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea looking for their first trophy in the Todd Burley era, when you think that in Roman Abramovich's time, 19 trophies in 19 years. As Palmer out towards Gusto, far side. Gusto with the cross, diagonal ball. Sterling had made a run towards the edge of the 6-yard area, and the deafening cheers will tell you that is the half-time whistle from our referee Sam Barrett. And Middlesbrough lead Chelsea by 1-0. Hayden Hackney with the all-important goal 8 minutes before half-time. You'll hear more, I'm sure, from Pat and Stuart with Steve here at the break. But at half-time, 5 Live, Middlesbrough lead Chelsea by 1-0.
Ian, thank you very much. Yeah, we've got Pat Nevin and Stuart Downing with us inside the Riverside Stadium. Stuart, Pat was talking about if you're the second-tier team facing a Premier League club, you need luck. They've not had any with the injuries, but they've run into a surprisingly wasteful Cole Palmer.
Yeah, so a bit of both, hasn't it, really? Like you say, not an ideal start with the injuries. They had to change a little bit the way they want to play, the style, if you like. But like I say, Cole Palmer's had 3 unbelievable opportunities. And to be fair, you look, and Chelsea haven't created... They've had a lot of possession, but not a load. I think obviously 2 of the chances are from Middlesbrough's mistakes, especially the first one with Palmer, and Johnny Howson played a square pass. But I think overall Middlesbrough have got to be happy, like I say, for that adversity they had with the injuries. How they cope with that and how they changed the system. So I think Michael will be pretty pleased. He will say obviously just be careful, because Chelsea can prove that they'll get chances, and like Pat says, they can create from nothing, and they've got players who can do that. And but second half, I think they've just got to keep it the way they're going, but just cut out the sloppy mistakes, Middlesbrough.
The one where it hits the goalkeeper and he spills it, and Cole Palmer's right there. It was really funny, that, Pat, because I thought the same as you when I first saw it. Oh, that's come to him quite quickly. And I was watching Stuart looking at you, waiting for you to change your mind, and I saw it the same time you did. It's a gaping miss, isn't it?
It's a stinker. It's an absolute stinker. He's got time actually to get his left foot up to it and basically cushion it into an empty net, and he just catches it far too clean, puts it over the crossbar. So yeah, from one angle, I mean, there's a game, last night's game, that actually happened very, very similar. A player missed it from very close in, but this time, Cole Palmer's got to do better. Cole Palmer's an interesting one, because he did well to get in position just after that. He's not as if he's hiding now. He could have had 3 goals. He's gotten in great positions. But I wonder if you've taken too much away from Chelsea by putting him up there. You could actually do with him, create him from a little bit behind, and he would be still getting chances coming from that slightly deeper area. Chelsea look a little bit more disjointed when Cole Palmer's further forward, because they've not got his creativity coming from deep.
The one bit of good luck within the bad luck that Middlesbrough have had, Stuart, is that the injury to Latte Lat, the striker, has meant that when they change things round, Isaiah Jones has gone from being a wing back to a winger again, and he is loving going up against Levi Colwill.
Yeah, that's what we said. You've got to play to your strengths, and to be fair, Middlesbrough, it's actually worked out a little bit better for them, getting Isaiah Jones higher against Colwell. And like Pat said, he's struggling on this side. You can just see he's not comfortable one bit. And Isaiah Jones, his eyes have got to light up thinking, give me the ball. Middlesbrough's tactics, like I said, is simple. Just give Isaiah Jones the ball, keep putting Colwell on the back foot, because he's one tackle away from going off the field. So, but I think there'll be a change in that position. There's got to be, because like I say, he's going to get sent off if he keeps going the way it is. But to Middlesbrough, like I said, just keep giving the ball to him and keep putting him on the back foot and putting him under pressure. pressure.
The temptation is, Gusto can come over and play this side. It'll be less dangerous going forward, but you need to stop the danger over here. Gusto's a very, very good defender and very much a specialist fullback. Then you have to look at right back and who's going to do that job over there. It's a strange one though, because it sounds as if having a right dig at Colville here. I just really feel uncomfortable when you ask players to play a position that is not clearly the perfect one for you. When I watched Colville play, when he played centre back alongside, sometimes in the three, but alongside Thiago Silva, it looks like Thiago Silva the way he plays. He's so comfortable on the ball. He knows what the positions are. But it will be interesting to see. You would imagine Chelsea will make one or two changes, if not at half time, certainly at the start of the second half, 10-15 minutes in, if they don't get a goal.
What a half for Middlesbrough Football Club of the Championship. We're only a quarter of the way into this semi-final tie, but they could not have asked for more than that. They've scored a fantastic goal through the highly rated Hayden Hackney, who isn't highly rated for his goal-scoring abilities. He's been all over the midfield against a World Cup winner in Enzo Fernandez. This bitterly cold night on Teesside, but the Middlesbrough fans here so far have been warmed by an excellent performance from Michael Carrick's side. Fascinatingly set up for the second half, and of course we'll bring you second half commentary from here on Teesside very, very shortly. Coming up next, we'll be back to the Masters Snooker, and we're going to hear from the England and Saracens hooker Jamie George on the reports that teammate Owen Farrell could be off to Racing 92 in France. We'll do all of that after the latest news on 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening, I'm Nick Hatfield. Downing Street has welcomed the decision by the former head of the Post Office, Paula Vanells, to hand back her CBE. She was in charge of the Post Office when it repeatedly denied there were problems with an IT system known as Horizon. The faulty software led to hundreds of branch managers being wrongly accused of offences including false accounting. Among them was Rabina Shaheen, who was jailed in 2010. Her husband Mohammed has been speaking to 5 Live.
How does Paula feel now, Paula Vanells feel now, for what we went through? When Rubina's conviction was quashed, that was the happiest day of our life. Money will not buy us what we have lost. Money will not buy Rubina's health. She has gone through hell and come back.
The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken says Palestinians in northern Gaza must be allowed to return home as soon as possible. He was speaking at a news conference in Tel Aviv after a day of talks with Israeli leaders, including the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Mr. Blinken says they discussed the possibility of a United Nations mission to Gaza.
It will determine what needs to be done to allow displaced Palestinians to return safely to homes in the north. This is not going to happen overnight. There are serious security, infrastructure, and humanitarian challenges. But the mission will start a process that evaluates these obstacles and how they can be overcome.
A legal hearing has been taking place in Washington on whether Donald Trump should be immune from criminal prosecution. Mr. Trump appeared in person in court where his lawyers argued he's protected from charges of election fraud because he's a former president. The Met Office says temperatures this year could be even warmer than 2023. EU scientists have confirmed that last year was the hottest ever recorded. And the biggest selling game in the UK last year was EAFC 24, which was previously known as FIFA. There were questions about whether the name change would affect sales, but the game was only slightly down, with 2.25 million copies sold.
You know those times when you just can't tear yourself away from something great on 5 Live?
And your little favourite football friend is there with you. And to be honest, I'd have him in every day.
Now, I always rave about... No! With most smart speakers, you can now ask BBC Sounds to pause, rewind and restart live radio.
Now, I always rave about Julian are on it. The guy is absolutely dripping with Riz.
He's got so much Riz.
Yeah.
So you never have to miss another minute. To get started, just say, ask BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Well, there's been a lot of rizz about Middlesbrough in that first half. I think I'm using that correctly. They've been excellent. They lead Chelsea of the Premier League by 1-0 at half-time in the first leg of this League Cup semi-final. Second half commentary on the way from here inside the Riverside Stadium at the Masters Snooker tonight. Neil Robertson is taking on Barry Hawkins. Jamie Broughton is at the Alexandra Palace.
And this is a rerun of the 2022 final, which Neil Robertson won, but he's not played that well this evening. It's Hawkins who's played the better snooker. He knocked in breaks of 54 and 96 on his way to a 2-1 lead. We're now into frame 4. Hawkins has made a 48 break already, and Robertson now needs a snooker, so it looks like Hawkins could be leading 3-1 going into the mid-session interval. 6 is required to play Ronnie O'Sullivan on Thursday in the quarter-finals.
Thanks, Jamie. You can watch that on BBC iPlayer, the Red Button and the BBC Sport website. Earlier, the defending champion Judd Trump won his first round match at the Masters. He beat Kyron Wilson 6-5. England and Saracens hooker Jamie George says that speculation over teammate Owen Farrell and a possible move to French club Racing 92 came as a shock to him. In November, Farrell announced that he was going to take a bit of a step away from internationals to prioritise his mental well-being. His teammate George has been speaking to 5 Live Breakfast Rachel Burden.
The speculation only broke earlier this week, so that came as a shock to absolutely everyone. So, but I haven't spoken to him about it yet, because ultimately it's his decision, whatever he wants to do, whether he stays or goes. That's I know that he's going to be choosing the right thing for him and his family. So, yeah, I'm sure over the next coming week that we'll have a sit down and have a coffee and have a chat about things. But yeah, like I say, ultimately the most important thing for him is that he's happy and that his family's happy.
That's Jamie George. So Racing have denied that an agreement has been made, and in the latest episode of the Rugby Union Weekly, our correspondent Chris Jones has been speaking to Ugo Monye and Chris Ashton about Farrell's potential move.
It's playing a different league, doing something different with your family, finding out for yourself instead of just people talking about France all the time. What's it like? And then, like you say, come back and finish off at Surrey's and potentially play in a World Cup.
And do you think he's motivated by going and trying to win trophies elsewhere?
Well, if we bring in people questioning or him feeling like he's not been able to win the World Cup, he's won everything that was possible at Saracens, is now the right time for him to go and try and prove himself in a different league with a different team to show that he can get them to win the first Champions Cup potentially, or go on and win top 14, then yeah, has to be. It's one of his biggest motivations is winning. That's without doubt.
Well, the motivation for Racing is to replace Finn Russell. We know they went hard for Marcus Smith last year. Had loads of conversations. They felt they needed that international star 10 to be able to take them to a place where they've been really close, 2 finals, but no cigar. The relationship, Stu Lancaster, and having a hotline to England players, ones he's got good relationships with, that will absolutely help. And they're an easy club to be sold to anyone, aren't they? You have a look at the stadium, you look at their history, they've got the World Cup captain there in Sia Khaleesi, and you can use him as an asset to be able to reach out other players. You get that. For Faz, I chatted to Racing back in 2009, and I was close to going. And the reason I didn't go is because I hadn't achieved what I wanted to achieve at Harlequins, which was to win a title. Farrell's done that. He's won Premiership titles, just the 5 or 6. He's won the Champions Cup times over, hasn't he? So he's done that. He's ticked that box. He's completed rugby from a Saracens perspective. Take himself out of England for this period, and no one's really put a timescale on it. Is it just the Six Nations? Is it the Six Nations and the summer? Is it the year of 2024? What then gives you that energy beyond the thing that you put as a premium, which was doing well at your club and trying to achieve everything you can at England? Now he's out of England. It opens up your opportunities, doesn't it? So good on him for having a look. The one thing is I think he's primed to be able to explore his options, and he's earned every single right to do it.
Just be unclear on that. I don't think this opportunity comes around if Stuart is not involved. It just doesn't happen.
Well, it seems like a natural... But it doesn't it? You know how well Lancaster knows Andy Farrell, and he's obviously coached Owen, gave him his debut.
Yeah.
Do you think it's done?
No. It'll have been recent. But no, I don't think it's done at all.
Do you think he'll go away from the England system and play rugby somewhere else next season?
I don't know. is the answer. I think it could go either way.
Chris Jones, Chris Ashton, Ugo Monye, the Rugby Union Weekly, which you can download the latest episode right now on BBC Sounds. There's an easy joke to make with the music in the background. Middlesbrough leading in the semi-final, first leg of a League Cup at half-time. Paradise City, but it doesn't work because it's a town. They've done absolutely fantastically well so far. We've got Stuart Downing, Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis with us on 5 Live Sport tonight, and the second half is not too far from getting underway. Ian, we were talking about Hayden Hackney before the game, and he's just shown us why.
Well, I just thought he took his goal ever so well. He's only 21 years of age. I remember when Jonathan Woodgate, who I know very, very well, when he was the manager here, and he got Hayden involved in the first team, because he didn't make his debut at that point. He made his debut about 3 years ago, but by that point he'd been involved in the first team, and Jonathan was just, he wanted to get him involved. They've had high hopes for a long time, but the goal that he took from Jones's cutback was ever so well left-footed, guided it in. Middlesbrough are in the ideal position. They've got 45 minutes to go. If it stays like this, they're happy. They've got something to protect now for the return leg at Stamford Bridge in a fortnight. If they can add to it, even better. Surprised to see Colwill has come out for the second half, Stuart?
A little bit. I mean, to be fair, he might get another 10-15 minutes. It probably depends on how it starts. But for Isaiah Jones, if I'm in, my eyes are lighting up. I'm thinking just keep giving me the ball and keep putting him under pressure, like I said in the first half. So let's see how Chelsea start, and then I think that'll be a decision to be made in the next 10-15 minutes.
Lots of players hopping around left and right on this very, very cold night on Teesside. What a first half for Middlesbrough. Let's get second half commentary with Stuart, Pat and Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Steve. I think the light rain has now just resorted to a faint drizzle, as neither side has made a change at the start of the second half. So Middlesbrough all in red, but they did make 2 changes, remember, during that first half. Line up with Tom Glover in goal. A back 4 now of Vandenberg, Fry, Clark and Engel. A midfield of Jones, Barlaser, Howson, Hackney, Crooks and Coburn. All in red, playing from right to left as we look, as our referee Sam Barrett blows his whistle against Chelsea in the all dark blue, with Petrovic in goal, back 4 of Gusto, Thiago, Disasi and Colwill, who's on a yellow card, Caicedo, Fernandez, Gallagher, Madueke, Palmer and Sterling. Pat Nevin, what are you expecting second half?
Well, what I suggested beforehand, I don't want Cole Palmer up front, and it doesn't look as if he's going to play up front. He's actually already dropped back a little bit, hasn't he, into a place where he can get a ball from a little bit deeper. It would appear that the furthest forward is Conor Gallagher at the moment. We shall see if that stays the case.
Here is Thiago. Chelsea then playing from left to right as we look in this second half. Middlesbrough playing in their first League Cup semi-final in 20 years. 20 years since they won it in 2004, and some Middlesbrough fans might just start to be dreaming of reaching the final. Then of course it was Millennium Stadium, Cardiff, but Wembley awaits next month. Still a lot of football to be played though in this League Cup semi-final, as Clark does well in the central defence. Vandenberg passes the ball forward. Jones being tracked by Colwill, got a foot into the challenge, and it will go out for a Chelsea throw in front of those 3,000 travelling fans on that far side of the ground here at the Riverside. It's a sellout. It holds just under 35,000 as Coburn for Middlesbrough, big tall forward, loses the ball. Gallagher picks it up for Chelsea. 2 minutes into the second half.
Already noticeable. Raheem Sterling chasing down the full-back there. Colwyn, he chased back and he tackled really high up the field as well. They've been told, Chelsea, very, very clearly, higher pace, get closer to players, and well, they've started that way in the second half. It's left to be seen if they will continue to do it.
Here is Disasi, forward ball. Gallagher couldn't take it in his stride, cleared away by Fry, onto the chest of Hackney, loses out to Caicedo, now towards Madueke. Madueke on this near side, the right, left-footed, plays it to Gusto, first time cross, arcs its way in, headed out by Fry. Another header out by Fry on the edge of the penalty area. You know, Maurizio Pochettino has never lost to lower league opposition in the League Cup. He's won 9 and he's drawn 2. Although one of those draws did see him eliminated when he was the Tottenham manager to Colchester in a penalty shootout about 4 years ago. He's got a proud record to protect. High hopes for Chelsea. You think of the cost of that starting 11. Inconceivable to think that they wouldn't get past Middlesbrough over 2 legs, but they're behind by a goal to nil, and Crooks now on the charge. Releases Jones, right side of the area. Crooks makes his way back in, over his head. Coburn was arriving, headed away. And now Sterling inside his penalty area will try and roll it out of play, but he can't get past Barlaser, and it goes out for a Middlesbrough throw.
You just knew what Middlesbrough were going to do there. Get the ball, get it out to the right hand side, and just ask that man Jones to go and run at his defender. He does it again, gets to the byline, decent cross, and a big man at the back, but just wasn't powerful enough.
Jones on the right delivers the cross, cleared on the half volley by the right leg of Disasi. Out of play, it will go for another Middlesbrough throw, but a lot closer towards the halfway line. Early in the second half on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, where Michael Carrick's side lead by a goal to nil. He won the League Cup 3 times with Manchester United to an array of trophies, 5 Premier Leagues, an FA Cup, a Champions League, a Club World Cup. And his assistant, Jonathan Woodgate, scored the winning goal against Chelsea in the League Cup final for Tottenham Hotspur back in 2008. So they have the pedigree on the bench. And this injury-hit side of the Championship have a slender lead. 5 minutes almost into the second half as the ball goes back to the Australian goalkeeper Tom Glover. Now it's with Clark, who hits it left-footed. Disasi and Coburn in a wrestling contest. The referee lets play continue. Disasi is back to his feet under pressure from Crooks. Goes back towards Petrovic, all in yellow. Blue boots away towards our left-hand side. Thiago came off the bench against Preston in the FA Cup at the weekend. Casually strokes it towards Disasi, who's now got the space to run towards the halfway line as Hackney backs off him. And Palmer lays it off towards Gusto. Gusto infield. Palmer midway through the Middlesbrough half. Disasi sweeps it to the centre circle. Briefest of touches from Thiago Silva. Now it's with Sterling. Overruns it. Jones was helping out on that far side, and Jones now can come forward. Hayden Hackney goes into the challenge in the centre circle with Gusto. Headed forward by Caicedo. Headed away then by Engel. Hackney was there. Disasi will let the ball settle and turns away from the Middlesbrough goal scorer. And now it's with Thiago Silva once more. 1-0 to Middlesbrough.
You can feel a real tension about it, but Middlesbrough, you know, they're really getting into every tackle. I'll tell you what, right at this moment, they're winning every one.
That was Barlaser, nudged over from Caicedo. He complains to the referee, and the referee gives that decision in favour of Middlesbrough. It's certainly competitive in that midfield, Stuart Downing.
It is a good battle, it's good to watch, and like Pat said, Middlesbrough, you know, the first of the tackle, and that's what gets the crowd going, gets everyone behind them, and that's what they're going to need, especially the second half, because they will come under pressure a little bit, but when the chance there to win the tackles, they've got to be first to it.
Well, this free kick is not quite midway through the Chelsea half as Middlesbrough play from right to left. Barlaser stands over it. Engel has come out to this near side, the left as an option. Chelsea have got everybody back behind the ball. Barlaser chips it long into the penalty area and strikes Dale Fry, who was trying to make a run round the back, off his chest and into the arms of the Serbian goalkeeper Petrovic, who just rolls it out to Caicedo, and his forward ball now finds Gallagher.
It's very intriguing to watch Chelsea just now. They haven't got a centre forward, they've got 3 or maybe 4 different players that are taking it turns to go into that position, so they are rotating it all the time. Currently Raheem Sterling's kind of sitting in that position, but some of the times it's been Enzo, some of the times it's been back to Cole Palmer again, but they don't seem to have settled in one. And if you're a Brando Broja, how must you be feeling just now?
Yeah, he is an option on the bench. Here is Madueke. Middlesbrough though, with everybody back behind the ball. Madueke goes into a central area. Enzo Fernandez feeds it on its way towards Sterling. Sterling left hand side. Colwill fractionally behind him. Back it goes out towards Sterling on the Chelsea left, level with the penalty area, shorten inside. Enzo Fernandez with a cross into the penalty area, and the header from Madueke was plucked out of the air by the Middlesbrough goalkeeper Tom Glover, just moving high up away towards his right hand side. Had to stretch a fraction, but not overly stretched.
No, it's an easy save for him when it gets out in the end. His positioning was absolutely perfect. Madueke had to do well to actually get his head on the end of that, but half chance, no more than that.
Middlesbrough 1-0 up. Clark gives the ball straight towards Palmer. Now Gallagher lays it off to Madueke. 25 yards out from goal. Back out towards Palmer, right side of the penalty area. Palmer uses the overlap as the decoy. Inside towards Sterling. Cleared away and hammered away by Howson. Pat.
Do you think he said, have it, when he had that one away there? He's only launched it about 60, 70 yards there. And there's not a Borough fan in here that is unhappy with that situation. Get it out of the danger area when they're under a little bit of pressure. But you are beginning to see Cole Palmer picking it up in those areas. He loves to pick it up, and it's asking a question now. Middlesbrough, and a couple of times, the centre backs have had to come out. Clark's finding himself in a slightly difficult position where he doesn't want to come out of that area. He has to do it to pick up Cole Palmer, which is leaving gaps.
Johnny Howson has been a terrific servant for Middlesbrough. Michael Carrick, in his conversation with Steve Crossman, he hinted that he was looking at maybe going in. What next? Does he go down the coaching route? But over 300 appearances for the club since he joined 6 years ago from Norwich City, as Middlesbrough protect their 1-0 lead. Madueke quickly on the inside of Engel, accelerates in towards the penalty area. 3 red shirts around him. Madueke manages to cross the ball from the byline, stays in. That was electrifying from Madueke, and out of play it goes for a Chelsea throw.
It's hard to imagine why he doesn't get a start every week, Madueke, because he's always asking questions. He's always getting there. Now there's not been a final product yet, but it's absolutely there, and what he's doing is he's creating space for others, because if you take players out of the game, there will be space for others elsewhere.
Disasi to shoot from long range, and it's well off target. The thought-provoking thing about Chelsea, and you'll have seen them a lot more than I have, but we've talked about they've spent over £1 billion under Todd Boehly, and yet every time I see Chelsea, I still don't see a team. I see a team of individuals.
Yeah, and that's what I said before the game, is that's how they look. Just now they have not got what looks like an ethos. But what you do is you buy the players, and you'll use the data, and it looks like a team that's built on data. But that's what you've got a manager for. You got a manager to then mould that together into a team. At the moment, there are moments when it looks as if they have got that, but there are other times when you think it's a good distance off. Certainly a good distance off what would be a top 4 team.
The voice of Pat Nevin on BBC Radio 5 Live as Gallagher rolls away to Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez now finds Sterling. This looks promising for Chelsea. Sterling with the cutback, takes a deflection. Barlaser clears it away from the edge of the area. Crooks now picks it up. Coburn was making the run through the middle. Jones is ahead of him on the right hand side. Crooks now chips the ball over the top. Jones with his pace. Thiago Silva unruffled with a downward header, and now it's with Gallagher. 10 minutes into the second half. Gallagher, Crooks, all action, bustling midfielder. Referees played the advantage. There was a foul on Gallagher, but the referees let the game flow. Now with Madueke on the right hand side. Madueke scoops over the cross, and it curls out of play for a throw. Dare I say it, they're missing a centre forward.
Well, and also final product from the player who does everything up until the final cross or the final ball. When you get into those positions, it's having the vision to be able to get your head up at that last second and pick somebody out. He put it into an area where you'd expect a centre forward, and Chelsea haven't got an out-and-out centre forward. But you kind of also need to pick your head up there, because he got himself some great space after going by a couple of players.
11 minutes into the second half, and that Hayden Hackney goal is still the difference between the two. Anfield tomorrow night, Liverpool against Fulham. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. 5 Live will be there. Coburn flicks the ball on, bounces off the head of Colwill, then he hits it left-footed away downfield, headed back by Dale Fry, only as far as Gallagher. Gallagher lifts it into the air. Madueke tries to roll it into the path of Gusto, and then it didn't fall for Gusto, and there was a potential break on, and Gusto fouled Engel, and it'll be a free kick to Middlesbrough.
And I know what you're thinking, and Gusto's a wee bit lucky there, because it was very clever. He would say that he's taken him out of the play, knew there was a dangerous situation, and cup rules.
High but offside against Coburn. There's only been the one yellow card actually shown. That was to Levi Colwill just before the half hour.
Yeah, I did explain to you before the game. It's cup rules. You get away with so much more in these cup games.
Well, here is Cole Palmer on the halfway line. Thiago Silva left of the centre circle. Colwill just to the side of him. Sterling's come quite deep, just in from that left touch line. Chelsea now have every outfield player in the Middlesbrough half away towards our right hand side. Gusto, a few yards in from the right touch line, gets that ball back from Cole Palmer. Middlesbrough being organised, Colwill out towards Sterling. Sterling faced by Isaiah Jones, goes on the outside, delivers the cross into the penalty area. The header from Madueke couldn't get enough on it. Clark put him off. Gusto picks up that loose ball outside the area under pressure from Hackney, being forced away from goal by the Middlesbrough midfielder. Middlesbrough working hard off the ball. Colwill, forward ball, Gallagher, first time layoff, out towards Sterling. Now starting to see a little bit more of the ball, but they've doubled up on him, and Crooks does well, uses his strength, dispossesses Sterling, and Vandenberg, not fazed by the presence of Gallagher, tries to hold off Gallagher. Ball doesn't go out of play, falls to Enzo Fernandez now, enters the penalty area, twists and turns, can't get the shot away, pulls it back to Caicedo. He squares it, first time, Gusto. Now 30 yards out from goal. Middlesbrough once again working so hard with those red shirts, trying to reduce the options for Chelsea, and helped out by this vociferous support inside the Riverside as we approach the hour mark. 1-0 to the Championship side. But Chelsea are probing. Gallagher with the cross, plucked out of the air by Tom Glover. Got to say, Stuart, they're defending ever so well, Middlesbrough.
Yeah, they are, and the same as the weekend's game against Aston Villa. I'm sure Michael, when you think of him tactically, what I know he likes it to be played wide and not going through the middle of them, and they're doing exactly that now. I know Sterling's got down the outside, and that was one of the first times he's been positive and he got a good cross in, but I think Michael will be pretty relaxed about it. Like you said, they're not creating clear-cut opportunities, and
no, they're not at the moment as we approach the hour mark. This is Disasi in the centre circle. Still the persistent drizzle falling here on Teesside. Disasi now enters the Middlesbrough half. Still quite that high line, just squeezing up the play and concentrating that middle area of the pitch as Clark, under pressure from Gusto, to Engel, hooks it away, bouncing ball. Coburn takes it on the chest, shows too much to Caicedo. Little flick there by Howson to tidy up matters in the midfield for Middlesbrough. And now it's with Dale Fry. Forward ball, Barlasa, able to turn, brings the ball away, and now along the ground releases it to this left-hand side. The red shirt rippling of Engel. His ball, though, has been given away. Ball retention has got to be key for Middlesbrough if they're to succeed in protecting this slender lead that they have in this League Cup semi-final. Madueke to Gusto. Michael Carrick asked for the crowd to turn up and to play their role. They're trying to do their bit. Enzo Fernandez out to Madueke, right hand side. Madueke, Gusto's first time cross is a low one, reaches Gallagher, turns and pulls it wide. Tried to roll his man right footed. It was a good foot away from that left hand post as we look 1-0 Middlesbrough.
Yeah, that's what a centre forward should do, and he found himself in centre forward position there. Hold the ball up and try and twist and turn on it, but he couldn't get it clean enough. And yeah, once again the defending has been very, very good, but the concentration levels that are now needed by Borough are huge, because they're going to be under quite a bit of pressure. No one can really turn off at any point in time. So far in this second half, they haven't made any of those mistakes they were making in the first half. You know, the passes into dangerous areas and laying chances on for Chelsea, that's not happened, so they'll be delighted with that. But at the moment they're not creating too much going forward, but they don't need to, they're 1-up.
I was about to ask you, are you surprised that we haven't seen Amanda Broja just yet? But I don't need to ask you that, because I can actually see him getting his final instructions
alongside Mudryk.
So they're going to have a focal point, and they're also going to have plenty of pace as well, with the Ukrainian as the site of the blonde-haired number 10, and then Broja emerged from down below. Meanwhile, Clark heads it away for Middlesbrough, helped further away by Barlasa, headed back by Disasi to Sterling, wriggles free, edge of the area, stepping out of defence. Engel comes back, Madueke, Engel back in position. Middlesbrough surround Madueke. There were 3-4 red shirts that quickly dealt with that situation. Coburn was looking for a free kick. Michael Carrick is angry that it wasn't given. Chelsea just starting to step up the pressure, looking for an equaliser. Live on 5 Live. 1-0 they trail. Engel goes into a sliding challenge. They're starting to be asked questions, Pat Nevin, Middlesbrough.
Yeah, there's got a real cup feeling about it, hasn't it? You know, it's a really good game apart from anything else, but there is no doubt Chelsea have lifted it a little bit now. The pace look a lot better at the moment, and Madueke coming off is, I have to say, I'm slightly surprised at that. You know, Mudryk's a obviously a very good player to bring on in that situation, but I have to say I'm slightly surprised by that, because I think he's been one of Chelsea's best players.
I don't think you're alone. Did I just see you shaking your head, Stuart Downing?
Yeah, I can't get my head around that one. I think he's been probably, along with Cole Palmer, the most threatening player for Chelsea. I mean, I'll be honest, I thought it might have been Sterling or a Gallagher, maybe someone like that, but yeah, I'm surprised at that.
So Mudryk comes on for Madueke. Broja has actually replaced Enzo Fernandez. Pat had talked about Gallagher being in a more advanced position in this second half. But Broja now, they've at least got a focal point. Cole Palmer looks like he's going to play off him. Raheem Sterling at the minute is on this right-hand side as Mudryk goes towards the left. So it's a bit of a rejig from Maurizio Pochettino. Will it pay off as they trail? Gusto with a cross, headed out by Dale Fry, the longest serving player for Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough now have it with Crooks to Hackney, bounced away off his outstretched left boot and presented Chelsea with an opportunity as Hackney bounces into Caicedo. Might like a little bit of that, a bit of attitude from the young man. 63 minutes played, Middlesbrough still lead by 1-0 for what is turning into an absorbing second half now. And it will certainly, this scoreline, keep the second leg alive for a fortnight's time in West London. But Chelsea will be looking to level before it gets to that point. Disasi. There's no real threat coming from the Championship side at this stage. It's a containment job as they protect their lead. Sterling now on the right. Gusto. Hackney, every red shirt back behind the ball. Thiago Silva just quickly helps it on its way to Colwill. Middlesbrough supporters try and raise the atmosphere once again in the Riverside on this cold, damp evening. As Disasi central area finds Sterling. Gusto on the overlap. Sterling doesn't use it, holds on to the ball. Now passes the ball to Gusto. By and large, they're playing in front of Middlesbrough at this stage.
Well, that's why it was such a surprise Madueke going off, because he was the one that was breaking the lines more than anyone else. So, but the manager must know what he wants, and he'll want to get the ball to Mudryk, because he will try and use his pace to break the lines as well on the left-hand side.
Caicedo, early ball, cleared by Fry. Again, it will come straight back at them. Gusto, right-hand side. Engel faces him. Caicedo will go on the overlap. Gusto passes the ball towards Disasi. Disasi waits. Right-hand side. Eventually the cross comes in from Caicedo, and Jones got the shout and just lets the ball run out of play.
Well done, Jones there. I mean, he wants to be a winger. These kind of overlapping fullbacks, stroke wing backs, are they really wingers or are they really fullbacks? You don't really know what they are sometimes. He actually showed why it's good to be both, because he knew how to defend there, whereas a normal winger panics in that situation, and he defended really well.
Here is Crooks over the halfway line. Break now on for Middlesbrough. This is Jones. Crooks herring in towards the penalty area. Can he find him? He plays the ball behind Crooks. Crooks will get there. Finds Engel, left-hand side, back with Crooks, left-hand side of the penalty area. Middlesbrough still lead by 1-0, 66 minutes played. Here is the goal scorer, Hackney, and gives it straight away towards Gusto. And what a promising break that was by Middlesbrough, and they couldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, once again, it's that far right-hand side. They find so much space. There's nothing particularly complicated about it. They just put it in behind the space there, and he just uses his pace, gets into the corner, and then final ball. There wasn't much on it, has to be said. He had 3 Chelsea players that got back in the centre of the pitch at that point. And Burrow finally got a corner kick.
So a corner kick. Can you see what the possession stats are from that computer?
It should
just
still be
right?
66, 67. Yeah,
67 to Chelsea. I'm just thinking second half, they've created very little. Madueke's header's probably about it, as we're 3/4 of the way through this first leg of this first semi-final in the Carabao Cup, live on 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app, where Michael Carrick's side, who've had back-to-back home defeats, Coventry and Aston Villa, are leading by 1-0, and they've got a corner kick left-hand side. Barlaser to take it deep towards the far side, and it's cleared away by Broja, and he's hammered that out of play, and it will bounce just before the halfway line and out for a Middlesbrough throw on that far side, the right, as Pochettino prowls in his technical area.
He is. He looks quite disappointed with that. He's made a few changes now. It's a Chelsea team now that looks almost, it's playing a 4-1-4-1. You've got the four midfielders is Sterling. He's trying to get up alongside Cole Palmer as much as he possibly can, and obviously get a little bit of help from Gallagher there, and obviously Mudryk. So they're trying as much as they can to get forward.
Gusto gets away from Engel, not once but twice. Sliding in was Crooks, got the ball as well. That was a good old sliding challenge by Crooks. Gusto stays on the ground. Middlesbrough meanwhile come forward. Hackney, Crooks going on ahead of him. Hackney to the edge of the area. Barlassa with a shot, right-footed. It was always on the rise, and it was always drifting away off target for a player who's yet to score for Middlesbrough. But the referee will stop play because Gusto has stayed down.
Again, it was a very, very strong challenge on Gusto. Again, normal times Premier League game, you would expect a free kick to be given there. It's a very robust challenge. But what is very concerning and very heartening for Middlesbrough, but concerning for Chelsea, when they do get their breaks just now, Middlesbrough look really dangerous and Chelsea look incredibly open.
Well, Michael Carrick is taking full advantage of this injury to Gusto to get some instructions across to 4 or 5 of his players down below. Just over 20 minutes to go. This is where Middlesbrough fans will be daring to dream, Stuart Downing.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a comfortable position, you've got to be honest. I think they defended quite well. All of Chelsea's players sort of in front of them, so I think Michael will be pretty happy the way it's going. But obviously the longer it does go, it's tiring on the legs to shifting across in that shape, so they've just got to keep doing what they're doing and keep trying to use Isaiah Jones on that counter-attack and that space in behind, and I think that's going to be the best opportunity for them to get another goal if they're going to get one. What's
bizarre, if you look at Middlesbrough's route to the last 4, is that all 5 matches this season have been away from home. They've scored at least 2 goals in each game. Their last home game in this competition was last season when they knocked out in the first round by Barnsley. They're up against the money bags of Chelsea, and they're leading by a goal to 0.
You know, watching the league games this season, I don't know if they're that much better away from home, at home than away from home. I mean, they have done quite well away from home, quite a few of the league games, and they've surprisingly lost 1 or 2 you thought would have won at home as well. So you just get a feel with this Borough team, I don't think they really care that much, home or away.
You're right, the form is indifferent in the Championship home. They've won 6, they've lost 6, they've only scored 14 goals in 13 home games. So whilst they've certainly added 1 or 2 on their travels in the League Cup to get to the semi-finals, in the Championship they've struggled, but they do have the all-important goal as Gusto waits to come back onto the field of play after treatment. 20 minutes remain on BBC Radio 5 Live, and Middlesbrough still lead by a goal to 0. A goal from Hackney in the first half, if you've just joined us.
Right, very interesting, Michael Carrick. It's got them to just push up a little bit further there. They almost were in a 4-2-4 against Chelsea there, trying to make sure that they don't spend the entirety of the game in their own 18-yard line.
Just seen Mauricio Pochettino pushing into a central area, and Sterling now has almost gone alongside Broja. Palmer is the one providing the width on this near side the right, Mudryk on that far side the left, as Chelsea play from left to right as we look. Caicedo wins the ball in the midfield. Vandenberg gave it away. Mudryk now up against the young Dutchman, but he falls over. Middlesbrough have it. Hackney, forward ball, slip by Thiago, opens up now for Coburn. Thiago recovers. Coburn now enters the penalty area. Got a little nudge there by Thiago Silva. Had he gone down, that would have been interesting, but as it was, he just runs it out of play for a goal kick.
It's amazing how many times you think, 1-on-1, Thiago Silva, you've got 40 yards to run, you should beat him. He's 39. And you don't. He always somehow gets there. A little bit of a nudge there, just very, very clever. Because that, once again, how dangerous the Middlesbrough looking to break.
It was a 21-year-old up against the evergreen 39-year-old. Gusto.
It's really upsetting that when you're young and that happens.
Caicedo. Now with Disasi. Chelsea once again have got every outfield player in the Middlesbrough half. Middlesbrough, though, have defended ever so well in this second period. Mind you, they will not switch off. They know only to their cost about the quality of Premier League opposition, albeit it was a deflected goal from Matty Cash at the weekend in the FA Cup, but they scored in the 87th minute. Gusto now with a cross from the right. Might fall towards Sterling. Sterling to Mudryk. Hits it first time. The keeper's lost it again. It was straight at him. And a fumbling Glover eventually gathered the ball in at the second attempt.
Glover's gloves are looking a wee bit slippery at the moment, a bit soapy. That's a couple of things. Now, it is actually, as you said, with the conditions, A, it's cold, B, it has been raining and a little bit of sleet as well, you wouldn't be surprised. But even so, that's a couple of times he's dropped it when it just hasn't looked that dangerous.
I'd be tempted to start to fire in a few more there. What was it that Nigel Martin always used to say about soft hands? I would argue that he hasn't got soft hands, the way that they're bouncing out of his grasp. That's what, twice now that he's let one slip. Caicedo, diagonal ball. Gallagher running forward for Chelsea, left corner of the penalty area. Mudryk picks up the loose ball. Howson just got something on the challenge to stop him. Breaking it up. Now it's with Coburn, who takes it over. Caicedo, though, gets in front of Coburn, and Chelsea win the ball back. 17 minutes remain. BBC Radio 5 Live. And Chelsea still can't find a way through this resilient Middlesbrough defence. Hackney. Coburn. Caicedo. Referee says no free kick. Has Michael Carrick turning away in protest.
Well, Michael Carrick has every reason to be very, very angry there, because that was a very clear drag back. The referee's not spotted it, but it's keeping the game lively. I mean, you have to underline it now and again. It's a really good game of football. It's really entertaining. It's enthralling. You do not know which way this game's going to go. It's as likely to go 2-0 as it is 1-1.
Here is Howson. A lot of space on this near side. If he could have released Engel, it was played behind him. Engel hits it first time for the run of Hackney. Couldn't find him. Palmer brings it under control for Chelsea, and now towards Gallagher, able to turn and release the ball towards Mudryk. Space for Mudryk to run into as he attacks Vandenberg. Barlasser is back in position. Here is Broey with his back to goal, couldn't hold it up, and Middlesbrough, no, Isaiah Jones has given the ball away. Cole Palmer now for Chelsea, out towards Gusto, right corner of the area. Gusto does the little step over, does the little shimmy, and then rolls it left-footed along the ground, cleared by Clark. Quarter of an hour remains on 5 Live. Middlesbrough holding on. You can hear the crowd's response as they try to keep them going for this last quarter of an hour. Here is Sterling. Sterling with the shots. Sterling puts it off target.
Yeah, but it's better by Raheem Sterling there. He gets it on the corner there, and he's positive about it. He's trying to go for that far corner. Now it's about 2 feet past, but it's the right one to go for. We should be getting it on target. It's one of those ones, you've said it yourself. Keeper's had a couple of wobbly moments. You've got to ask him a question.
He hasn't scored in his last 20 semi-finals for club and country, Raheem Sterling. As we now have 15 minutes remaining. The Middlesbrough fans in that vocal end behind the goal of Tom Glover towards our right-hand side, with the red and white flags flying and the beat of the drum creating a din of a noise. Can the Championship side hold on? Here is Palmer, 10 yards inside the Chelsea half to Disasi. Thiago Silva trots forward. Colwill. Middlesbrough have had to soak up a lot of the pressure in this second period. Here is Broyer with a layoff towards Palmer. Gusto's ahead of him on the right-hand side. Palmer looks for the run of Sterling, easily headed away by Dale Fry. Won back by Palmer momentarily. Hackney, good footwork, releases it towards Coburn. Just showed too much towards Thiago Silva. Sterling coming back, keeps it alive for Chelsea. Now with Gallagher. Mudryk's ahead of him on that left-hand side, that far side. 4 red shirts around the Ukrainian. And Johnny Howson, with his experience, takes it towards the corner flag and then clears it. Doesn't go out of play. Underneath the feet of Colwill. Now towards Thiago Silva. Disasi outside the centre circle, runs forward. 30 yards out from goal. Broyer lays it off. Palmer touches it to Gusto. Leaps out of the sliding challenge from Engel. Behind for a goal kick. The amount of time, Stuart, that Chelsea have had the possession, they just can't create the clear openings.
No, like I say, Middlesbrough defending really, really well, shifting in their shape, and it is tiring, like I said earlier on, but they're defending ever so well. But Chelsea are just not threatening the back line, and Middlesbrough, it's all sort of in front of them, and that's why I was surprised when they took Macarena off. You know, the one who was getting in behind them and attacking them. But yeah, everything's in front of Middlesbrough. I think they're pretty comfortable at the minute.
One of the things, I look out for at this point in the game, and who's getting tired. They're having to work so hard. They've made a couple of changes very early on in the game. They're under pressure a lot. Who's looking tired? To be honest, the back line looks fine. Most of the midfield looks actually quite well as well. Maybe looking at Crooks getting a little bit leggy just now, but what can you do? I mean, if you're Michael, you're thinking, look, how many changes can I make, and what have I got on the bench?
He's only got that one other opportunity to make a substitution, so he might just wait to hold on, because if he makes one, and then there's an injury, they're down to 10. Here is Caicedo spinning, releases it to Gallagher, picks it up 30 yards out from goal, prods it out towards the right hand side. Gusto back towards Gallagher, 25 yards out. Middlesbrough have got everybody back behind the ball, so those red shirts are in and around their own penalty area as Palmer can't wriggle away from Barlaser. Barlaser's now forward ball. Coburn, who's playing as a midfielder, manages to reach Hackney. Hackney was caught late by Caicedo. The supporters reacted. Michael Carrick, though, a little bit nonplussed. Out at the referees, letting the game flow. It'll be a Middlesbrough throw in on that far side, the right. We've got just over 10 minutes remaining, and Middlesbrough still lead 1-0, Pat Nevin.
And they're still trying to do that when they get the ball. They're very, very deep, but they've still got Jones as the out ball. And that time he tried to go and do it. I got a tackle out on, I think it was Caicedo, got a tackle on him there. But every time they try and get it to him. But in the second half, because Chelsea have had the pressure and had the ball most of the time, Jones is rarely getting involved. So, you know, they want to have that danger, they want to have that release now and again, but you just get the feeling these last 10 or 15 minutes they're going to be hard sums, hard work for Middlesbrough.
It could be a long, hard night if you're a Middlesbrough supporter as well, celebrating this, because this would be a famous win for Middlesbrough Football Club in this League Cup semi-final. As Chelsea still trail, just over 10 minutes remaining. It's their 6th semi-final in total. And every time that they've played the first leg at home, they've failed to reach the final, but they could be going to West London with a small advantage as it stands. Here is Colwill, looking for the run round the back of Mudryk. Cleared away by Vandenberg, the Dutch youth international. Thiago Silva back inside the Chelsea half, now with Disasi. Gusto has stayed out wide on the right hand side. Sterling now operating in that central area. Caicedo wins the ball against Coburn. An early first half substitute for the injured Emmanuel Latela, as Palmer picks it up and will go the long way around. Plays it hard into the feet of Gallagher on the stretch, couldn't control it. Isaiah Jones tidies it up, and Tom Glover, only 3 clean sheets in his 11 previous appearances, clears the ball away for Middlesbrough. Palmer lifts it forward. Chelsea have it once again, taken on by the left knee of Gusto. On this right hand side, manhandled by Engel. Finds Sterling, but it goes too far ahead of him and out of play for a goal kick. And the Middlesbrough fans are happy with that, Pat Nevin.
They are, and just the defending, you've got to admire the defending. They have not switched off for a second. They keep on getting into the right positions. The heart has been fantastic. And to be honest, they've been asked a few questions. I mean, Gusto, you've got to say he's been quite good. I mean, he's been really lively, he's trying to get up front. But the question we would ask about Chelsea there, when you look at the fullbacks and the wingers, they're not working together. You know, you're not dragging players out of each other's away to try and create a space in behind so they can get to the byline. So that lack of ability to work with each other to drag players away is very, very noticeable, Chelsea, just now.
We're on air until 10:30 tonight. Slip in the midfield by Barlaser. Chelsea will profit from that. This is Palmer, rolls it out to Mudryk, touches it inside to Gallagher, now finds Broja. Broja enters the penalty area, the angle is tight, he crosses the ball across the face of goal. Did the keeper get a touch to that? Sterling was the player. No, it doesn't. It goes out for a goal kick. Glover certainly was at full stretch as it went across the face of goal and out for a goal kick. Middlesbrough still lead 1-0.
Raheem Sterling had got himself in exactly the right position there. I suspect he thinks the keeper's got it. You know, and the ball goes across there and it's put it into that area between the two and expects the keeper to get a little bit of it. He doesn't throw himself at it. And you know, a natural centre forward goes and tries and throws himself at it. I don't think he would have got there. There was probably just a little bit too much pace on it. So, but for Chelsea, much better. Getting in a good area, putting it into the dangerous area between the goalkeeper and the centre backs.
Gordon Smart follows 5 Live Sport at 10:30. We'll try and bring you the live reaction before then if we can. If not, it will be in the 5 Live Football Daily podcast. Incidentally, there are 2 boxing previews with Steve Bunce looking forward to 2024 that are available on BBC Sounds, 5 Live Boxing, if you're interested. Certainly in the red corner tonight it's Middlesbrough who have the advantage, but they're soaking up a lot of the pressure as Gusto with a cross from the right hand side, swept away by Clark. Bouncing ball, 8 minutes remain of normal time. Now it's with Caicedo under pressure from Coburn to Disasi. Middlesbrough once again as the ball is played up towards Broja, just back off a little bit. Broja He was looking for a free kick, but it's gone behind for a corner off Howson's clearance. So let's see what they can do with a set piece.
A few complaints towards the referee there. I can't see a great deal wrong with that. As you say, he's let the play roll a little bit. It's been a bit robust now and again, but I don't think he's particularly favoured one side over the other, apart from that very early penalty shout.
7 minutes remain. Middlesbrough still lead. Corner kick left hand side. Palmer to take it. Hasn't been dealt with. Now it has by Howson inside his 6-yard area. Right footed. High ball. Out of play. It goes for a throw. Taken off that small white cone. Palmer with the throw. Gallagher diagonal ball and gathered in by Glover, and he catches it this time. An ironic cheers from the Middlesbrough fans.
It's a real shame for them there, because you know it's a good position. You should put a good ball in there, and just Middlesbrough, they're holding it there. There was a ball on, the keeper caught it there. Jones was away. He was away on the right hand side. There was nobody marking him earlier on in the game. They probably would have lumped it up and tried to get it to him. This time, slow it down, hold what they've got.
Since Chelsea were eliminated by Burnley in the 4th round on penalties in 2008 at Stamford Bridge, they've won each of their last 15 League Cup ties against sides from the lower leagues. They've scored 53 goals in the process, but they're drawing a blank so far here tonight as they look for an equaliser. Here is Gusto. Still they will press for one though, but 6 minutes remain of normal time. 5 Live and BBC Sounds, 1-0 to Middlesbrough. Thiago Silva outside the centre circle to Disasi. Forward ball rolls, bobbled a little bit. Broja couldn't control it. Cleared by Dale Fry, only as far as Mudryk, left hand side. They've doubled up on Mudryk, and there is Vandenberg. Plays a short ball. Mudryk actually keeps it in well. Then it bounces off the shins of Sterling. Middlesbrough still can't get the ball clear. Howson gets a good challenge in on Gallagher, forces him away from goal, leading with it from the front, leading with experience, and now urged on to keep on going, to keep on ploughing on for Middlesbrough as they defend manfully. Cross from Gusto on the right. Colwell tries to get there first, might break towards Broja. Gallagher with a shot. Broja wanted it to feet and then hammered away by Engel. Backs to the wall at the minute, Stuart Downing.
It is. I think this is going to be the trend for the next 5 minutes. It's like attack v defence, but fair play to Middlesbrough, they defend them very, very well.
Palmer lifts it forward. Back there was Dale Fry. He's still only 26. He seems to have been around forever, Dale Fry. Made his debut at 17 as Coburn does well. Pushes the ball past Disasi. Oh, and then he slips as he tried to think of a cross from the left-hand side of the penalty area as Crooks tries to win the ball back in a real old struggle against Disasi. All of a sudden Middlesbrough fans may have thought about a second goal there, and he slipped just at the wrong moment. Under 5 minutes remain. Gusto on the counter-attack. Some tired legs now there from Middlesbrough. They try and get back into position as the red shirts had gone forward. They committed men forward. Broja now for Chelsea. Gallagher waits for the ball to settle, runs forward, enters the penalty area, chips it towards the far post, and the service was lacking, and it goes out of play actually for a throw over on the far side.
And they could have another injury, Middlesbrough. I was saying before about who's looking tired. Well, the whole bunch of them looking tired in the last 5 minutes or so. But that looks like Coburn. A little strain, groin strain there. He's gone down. A bit of a pain. I don't think he's acting.
Would that be from his slip, do you think?
Yeah, it could well be. Absolutely could well be. If it is the case, then he's run a little bit, so he's going to have to run it off. By the way, his play in the build-up to that was absolutely brilliant. He held it, he threw a little dummy in as well, and it was such a shame from his slip just at the last second, because he had a couple of players up with him.
He's a powerful young forward, is Josh Coburn. Comes from Vidale in North Yorkshire. He's back on his feet. He will not want to come off for these closing stages, that is for sure. 3.5 minutes remain. Chelsea had chances in the first half. They've created very little second half. Engel races over to this near side, keeps the ball in play. Michael Carrick told him that he had time. Back it goes to Clark. Bald-headed defender sees it back towards Tom Glover. Glover, right-footed, clears it from inside his penalty area. Crooks tries to head it on, comes up towards Sterling. Leaning over him was Fry to head it away. Sterling battling for the ball there, holds on to it. Now finds Palmer. Gusto's going ahead of him. Palmer runs forward for Chelsea. Now inside to Gallagher, turns. Colwell joins the attack. Gallagher, Crooks, all action. Wouldn't be surprised if he has one of those little switches on the back of his head. It's like an action man. You know, the old eagle eyes that they used to make him. He just doesn't stop, this Matt Crooks. Middlesbrough now, their supporters offer the vocal encouragement. Cross comes in, headed away by Clark. 2 minutes of normal time remain. The fourth official will be interesting when he holds up the board. Chelsea are going to make a change as well. It's going to be Alfie Gilchrist who's going to be coming on, as Chelsea keep the ball but just cannot find a way through.
I don't know how many minutes will be added. There haven't been any injuries in the second half. It's kept on going.
Just thinking maybe of the odd substitutions as the cross comes in from Mudryk. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more than. I would be surprised if it's more than 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Caicedo, Disasi, Gallagher. Awkward fall for Crooks. He's in a lot of pain at the moment. Disasi plays the ball. Chelsea play on. They're entitled to do exactly that. Gallagher out towards Gusto. Gusto rolls it into Broja. The turn. It's cleared away by Clark.
Yeah,
Crooks is down. The referee's got to stop play.
Yeah, he's going to stop it just now. Obviously he's worried in case it is a serious injury. He stayed down. It's one of those ones when if a referee doesn't stop play right away, you've got to get up if you can get up. You must do. When you're a goal up and there's only seconds left, you cannot be doing the acting, and I don't think he was acting there. I think he got to say his body was in an odd position. He tried to do a little bit of a, you know, we're seeing it again here. Stuart, can you see anything wrong there?
I've just seen that when I seen the clip back there, Crooks has sort of twisted his ankle when he's fell on it, so it is a bit of a nasty one. I don't think he's play acting, but you know, obviously we're shouting to get up and help the team, but when I've looked at it there, it looks a bit of a nasty one.
Yeah.
The Chelsea change has been made. Alfie Gilchrist has come on to replace Malo Gusto at right back. Crooks is still getting treatment.
I'll tell you the reason for that. Gusto got a little injury before and he started hobbling a bit. He's trying to hide it for about 5 minutes or so, but that's not a change I don't think Pochettino would like to have made, because Gusto's been quite good down this right hand side. But Gilchrist, very, very popular in his early Chelsea career with the Chelsea fans.
He was signed from Queen's Park Rangers youth system at the age of 10. They'll be hoping that it's not serious to Gusto. Jackson's away at the African Cup of Nations, and Kunku's got a fresh injury, a hip problem. Chilwell, Chukwuemeka, James, Fofana, Cucurella, Sanchez, Chalobah, Lavia. Andre Santos is ineligible. Martson is going to go to Borussia Dortmund. So they, like Middlesbrough, are depleted in terms of injury and options, as we have 4 minutes of added on time. Middlesbrough still lead by 1-0, and we were right with our assessment of the added on time, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't see it was going to be a huge one because the players have got on with it, and say well done, both sets of players. There's nobody rolling about, you know, feigning injury, nothing like that. The referee said this is going to be one of those games where it's going to let it roll, so if you lie on the ground you can just stay there.
Middlesbrough have been awarded a free kick. The cheers will tell you that, as the first 60 seconds of the added on 4 have just ticked by. Some Middlesbrough fans are actually leaving on the far side. I would get it if they were 3-0 down, but your team are 1-0 up. You've got your role to play in the last 3 minutes to offer the vocal encouragement, and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to leave early. Don't get it.
It's well, you might have work in the morning, but yeah, it's slightly surprising. You want that last moment when the whistle goes.
Absolutely.
If you want, you'd love that.
Glover goes long with a free kick for Middlesbrough, headed away by Thiago Silva. They might be optimistic. They might be off to the bar to get the first pint in. Who knows? As the ball is picked up by Caicedo, and latching onto it now is Sterling, and running forward at pace. Sterling running through at the heart of the Middlesbrough defence. Clark got just something on it, and then it was cleared away by Engel. And that was a real Riverside roar to greet that clearance.
That's brilliant by Clark. He had to get that right. He had to get something on it. He dived in there and he just got enough to slow Raheem Sterling down.
Howson makes the challenge. Middlesbrough will play 2 more games before they go to Stamford Bridge. Millwall and Rotherham in the Championship. Chelsea will just have the one match against Fulham before they can rest and recuperate and try and overturn what looks like it's going to be a 1-goal deficit at Stamford Bridge. Stamford Bridge, incidentally, where they're unbeaten in 7 home games. But the Middlesbrough supporters inside the Riverside know that their moment is close. 90 seconds remain and the red and white scarves are out, being swirled around their heads yet again by this Middlesbrough home crowd, a sellout home crowd, as Caicedo picks it up, finds Palmer. Little flick of the index finger of the right hand by Pochettino. He knows where this ball is going. But Middlesbrough once again, who have been absolutely terrific in their defence, back in numbers. Now with Caicedo. Just over 60 seconds remain. Gilchrist to Palmer. Still working hard is Barlaser, looking to close down every opportunity. Disasi. Colwill. Patiently playing the ball out towards the far side. Mudryk with a cross. Gilchrist makes the run round the back, heads it into the side netting. It was never a threat to goal. Oh, it's gone behind for a corner.
He's good now. I've got that one right. Absolutely. Great defending, getting his body in the way and made sure it wouldn't go on target. But this must be the last chance for Chelsea.
By my watch, we're inside the last 40 seconds. Middlesbrough lead Chelsea by a goal to nil. Palmer with a corner kick. It's an in-swing of the referee, though, has spotted an infringement and blows his whistle. And Middlesbrough get a free kick, and Stuart Downing, the home crowd, are ready to celebrate.
It's a great atmosphere, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, Middlesbrough deserved it. I mean, the second half defending's been unbelievable. So yeah, I think it's a good result. Like I said, we wanted them to get a result to take to the second leg.
To be honest, the big thing about it, Michael Carrick on Radio 5 Live beforehand said we need the fans to turn up at the right times. Boy, have they done that at exactly the right times when they've been needed.
Well, I don't know about you two, but I can feel my feet vibrating, and now my ears are pierced, because the Riverside Roar will tell you that is the full-time whistle, and Middlesbrough go to Stamford Bridge with a lead to protect. They've beaten the Premier League side by a goal to nil. Hayden Hackney with a first half goal, but what a resilient defensive display. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, it was, and you're going to be put under pressure, and of course if you go up, you're allowed to go and sit back because you've got that advantage. You know what your shape is, but you need to be a little bit dangerous on the break, and they were dangerous on the break 3 or 4 times in that second half. Yes, Middlesbrough rode the luck now and again, but you really couldn't say they didn't deserve to get something out of this game, and maybe even a win, just for the effort they put in, and just the fact that if you look out there which players put the most amount of effort into that game, Chelsea might have had the possession. I tell you what, Borough had the effort, didn't they?
They certainly did. You cannot fault them to a T. Hayden Hackney's only goal of the game after 37 minutes, and to be frank, Chelsea didn't really look like scoring the way that Middlesbrough defended. They were terrific off the ball. Michael Carrick will be delighted. It's finished at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 1, Chelsea 0. Steve.
What a remarkable noise inside the Riverside Stadium. Down on the touchline, Michael Carrick just shaking hands with the officials. He's just given 2 big bear hugs, one to his assistant Jonathan Woodgate and one to his first team coach Aaron Danks. The Chelsea players in dark blue have just run over to the far side to applaud their fans, but this stadium is absolutely rocking. Just behind us in the commentary box there's a big photograph of the late great Alistair Brownlee, who was the local BBC commentator here for many years, saw every single humongous moment that this football club has ever seen, really. Well, I wonder what words he would have found. I think he once famously said, everyone round my house for a Parmo. There's going to be a lot of them eaten on Teesside tonight, I can tell you. The Borough players all still out on the pitch here. We've got Stuart Downing, Ian Dennis, Pat Nevin with us inside the Riverside Stadium. Stuart, this is as special a night as these fans have seen in a very long time.
Unbelievable. It's great being here, just sat watching the fans. I mean, the atmosphere, it's been amazing, and you've got to say the fans have played a big part tonight, especially towards the end when the team were tiring. They were getting deeper and deeper, and they just kept, a tackle went in and a roar went up, and it just gave the players a little bit of a lift. And sometimes, fans, you don't realise how much of a big part they play. They just give the players a little bit more energy. And I think you've got to say overall, I know the road they look a little bit time of chances, but I think they deserve the win.
The fans are drinking it in, Ian, and I think the players are as well, as they just watch the Middlesbrough supporters give them their adulation.
Well, this is a Middlesbrough side as well that, had to make changes in the first 19 minutes through to injury. They were already without 12 players before the game, and yet Michael Carrick, through the adversity, his players gave him absolutely everything. you cannot fault them for their work ethic, their endeavour, and they were a threat on the break as well. They had their moments in the second half, but Hayden Hackney, this talented youngster, with the all-important goal 8 minutes before half-time. We were saying beforehand, for a lower league side in a two-legged semi-final, you need to take advantage of your home first leg. They had to go to Stamford Bridge with something to protect, and they've got that now. And also, the way that they played in the second half will give them a lot of confidence for the return leg.
The chant that the Middlesbrough fans were singing there, I could hear the phrase, words can't describe Isaiah running down the right-hand side. Well, I've got two wingers sitting next to me here at the Riverside Stadium, Isaiah Jones, Pat Nevin. We said before the game, he's going to be important for Middlesbrough if they're going to have success, and he was exactly that.
Yeah, we knew it'd be an out ball. I mean, Stuart said that before. It's one of the phrases Stuart said right at the start. He is the out ball. And he absolutely was. And it didn't actually have to be anything complicated. You know, don't give it to him and ask it to beat three players. Just put it into an area, over the top of the defender, and let him go and take it. And he will keep on running. And when he got to the byline a few times, he didn't panic. He knew what he was doing. He's putting it into dangerous areas, which was maybe the difference between him on the night and some of the Chelsea wide players who were getting into some decent areas but then weren't picking out players. He was looking to play the right balls, and he did it time and time again, and he was consistently a danger. You're talking about the second leg. You've got to think Chelsea have got to think about that. I mean, who do they play there? I mean, do they play Colwell again? Do they go and put, I mean, I was going to say Gusto. Gusto's gone off injured there. He might not be available by the time it comes round. So there's a few problems, a few questions for Chelsea. Most of them they could answer if they had a full complement of players uninjured, but they haven't, and they need to get through this.
An astonishing effort from Middlesbrough Football Club, a second-tier team. It might just be the first leg, but what a first leg, what a famous night and a famous victory it is for the Teessiders. We've got lots more reaction to come between now and 10:30, so you'll get 30 minutes of it before Gordon Smart takes over. By the way, lots of stuff going on Gordon's show tonight. He's going to be on the hunt for the strangest festivals, folk stories and local sports stories. I've just read that he's going to be talking about 2023 being the hottest year on record, which feels a funny thing to say in the Arctic cold of the Riverside Stadium here, but it will feel warm, it will feel hot for all the Middlesbrough fans in here tonight who are just starting to make their way out. They don't want to. They want to stay here. They want to experience more of it. We'll bring you live reaction as well, I'm sure, from the Middlesbrough manager, and hopefully we'll get Chelsea reaction.